Hi, friends. My name is Shameflicity, and welcome, hopefully, to the last part of Chapter 1 of Project Eden's Garden. I don't know how long this trial is. We've done about 2.5 hours-ish of the trial. Um, I saw some other people doing this trial for a very long time, so I don't know if it's going to end up taking me that long or not. I'm hoping not. I don't really want to be streaming this for another like 3 hours. Don't get me wrong, this has been amazing. Like it has been so good. I'm not trying to complain about the length. Generally speaking, it's more of a me problem. But let's dive into it, shall we? And right now we are clearing suspicion of Diana. But Diana is saying that she actually saw it
Tell me
happen
what happened.
Where do I even start, though?
from the beginning.
How about you begin by explaining why you went to the boiler room?
Hmm.
Why I went there?
Yes, Diana.
Uh, it was because of a note.
Mm. So both she and Wolfgang got a note. I see. So my guess is that the culprit was trying to set Diana up.
A note?
2 days ago, someone slid one into my room. I never got to see who. I just heard a knock. And when I walked over, there was a note under my door.
So that means the culprit had been setting this up for at least 2 days.
I don't remember any of this. Sorry. It was midday-ish, and you weren't there at the time. And I didn't show you the note later because, well, I'll just read you what it said.
Diana, as you are aware, it is our obligation to speak with those whose blackmail we have obtained. After receiving your blackmail and reading the information disclosed in it, I believe a meeting between the two of us is warranted. In 2 days' time, please come to the underground boiler room at 8:45 a.m. Make sure to arrive promptly and close the door behind you. To avoid discourse, do not show anyone this letter. Do not approach me about it either, even in private. There is always the chance someone can hear. Wolfgang. Interesting. That is not what I expected, though. This definitely, though, what this does potentially line up with is my idea that maybe Wolfgang was going to try and kill someone.
Wolfie wrote this?
Hmm.
Wolfgang had Diana's blackmail? But didn't he have Jean's?
Yeah.
Hold on a sec. If you take a closer look, the handwriting on that note, doesn't it resemble the handwriting on Wolfgang's note?
Oh, so Jean is presuming it was written by the same person and it's not actually Wolfgang?
You're actually right. Even though Wolfgang's note has been water damaged, the words I can make out were in the same messy scroll as Diana's here.
Then someone else was posing as Wolfgang?
The killer, most likely. They must have thought his word was the only one Diana would follow.
Interesting.
It worked, huh?
Yeah, clearly.
I didn't want to show this note earlier because I was scared of how people would try to twist it.
Yeah, valid.
Like saying I faked the note, or that I decided to kill because of it. I thought it would be better to just stay quiet.
Yeah, I see what she's... I mean, I get it.
I know you
Okay,
guys
Grace.
think I'm stupid for agreeing to meet in a place like the boiler room. And I am. I am stupid.
Oh, bless you, Diana.
I just didn't want to disappoint Wolfgang in case he really did write the note. Which was why I left my room around 8:40 a.m. and went downstairs.
Okay.
Did you catch any strange movement down there?
8:40. So she went down shortly before the power actually went out.
No.
I think,
it was just
right?
me. I did find the boiler room door hanging open a little bit, but I didn't think much of it.
Okay.
I just went inside and closed the door behind me, since that's what the note asked me to do.
Okay.
What did you see inside the boiler room?
The boiler room was really dark. So the first thing I noticed was actually the security camera light. My eyes had to take a few seconds to adjust to everything else. But after that, I finally saw him.
Wolfgang? Oh. Here we go. Okay, this is once again not really what I expected, to be so honest.
Wolfgang was lying in the water, making these weird noises.
Huh?
It didn't seem like he'd even notice me entering the room. Not until... Wolfgang?
The frick?
Hearing his name seemed to snap him out of his trance, because he slowly rose to his feet. Wolfgang, are you okay?
Bro does not look okay.
It's you.
Huh? Wait, is bro actually sick?
Huh?
I can't believe it.
What you mean?
I really am finally meeting you.
Who's bro talking about? Hold on. Diana has pink hair. She's a cosmetologist. If he is thinking that she's Junko, I swear on the living Lord.
What do you mean?
Huh?
Please, forgive me.
What?
Please forgive me for what I've become.
A wolf in sheep's clothing?
Wolfgang?
Despite how hard I tried, how much I wanted it to
What?
be true, I could never become you.
What is bro talking about?
I will always be a failure.
Are you talking about his father or something?
It's okay, Wolfgang.
Bro does not look okay.
Look! There's stairs over here. Come over here and we can get out. I have no idea if he didn't hear me, or if he was just ignoring me. But, okay. I'll get closer to you then.
Yeah, I think this is where what I had thought about previously is most likely going to happen. I think he has the knife on him somehow. I don't know when he would have gotten it. He must have gotten it the previous day or something. And I think he's going to stab Diana with it.
I went over to the ledge of the platform, the part where the fence had a gap. Just take my hand, okay? And I'll pull you out. He slowly stumbled over, and he held my hand. I didn't really think I could pull him out. I just wanted to be there for him.
Okay.
It was the best I could do, because I didn't want to enter the water.
Why?
Staying on the platform felt so much safer. And I really, really hate that it did.
Girl, what you mean? Oh, like she was scared of him? Is that what she's saying?
It's okay, Wolfgang. We'll get through this together, all right? I was looking at him when I said that. I was looking right at him. But somehow...
What?
Somehow I didn't think to react.
Called it. I effing called it. I knew he had the knife.
When he reached inside his blazer.
Ugh. Okay, so just a cut? Thank goodness. I mean, something's definitely wrong with him. Either he really is sick, or someone did something to him.
Bring her back.
What you mean?
Bring her.
Why do I feel like he's talking about Junko? Oh Lord! Bro, these sprites are crazy. So well done.
I tried to leave the room, but the door was locked.
Oh, so someone did lock the door behind her. Wait, was Wolfgang? Wait, hold on. This changes the idea. What if Wolfgang was conspiring with someone else to get Diana killed?
I didn't know what to do. I started looking around for things to defend myself with. And that's when I saw the gun.
The taser.
The taser gun? Did you use it?
I took the taser and I aimed it at Wolfgang and I
Oh, she thinks she killed him.
I couldn't do it.
Oh, she didn't.
I couldn't shoot him. I just backed away from him.
Mm. Oh man, he looks awful.
I couldn't understand anything. Why was this happening to me? Why was I being attacked?
Yeah, bro looks like he came out of like an insane asylum or something.
Why can't I do anything to...
I'm not like you. I'll never be like you.
What you mean? Who?
I won't give up until the world knows.
Bro is like off his rocker right now.
I won't give up until everyone knows me as...
Oh. But what did he mean? What did bro mean? Knows him as what?
All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me. Except Wolfgang.
Okay, so generator exploding. That's what we can presume.
Those few
Look at this
seconds,
image.
He became pitch black. And then...
Wow, that was beautiful.
So did everything else.
Right. And that's when he fell into the water. Okay. What's strange, though, is either... I feel like Diana has to be lying about the taser because Desmond could confirm that it was shot, right?
Even though I didn't see Wolfgang fall over, I heard it. His body cracking against the pavement, and his knife falling into the water. I waited for the gasp of pain, for him to groan or mumble or say something. But there was nothing. There was just me and the silence.
Interesting. So it had to... Okay, so yeah, it seems as though, going back to what I said previously, the killer sent both of them down here, whether it be to kill Wolfgang or Diana, who knows, but for one of them to die and the other to be incriminated because of it. That's my guess.
That's how it happened.
And then you use one of your hairpins to get out, right?
What the fuck?
Bro, totally valid.
That man attacked you?
Oh my goodness, Diana, I'm at a loss for words.
This is getting too much for me, bros. I think I'm gonna faint.
Valid, to be real.
Holy shit. So Diana really did watch Wolfgang die.
That's a fat rip.
Why was he so violent towards her?
Something happened to him. Someone had to have done something to him. I don't even know what, though. Like, there's nothing that's coming to my mind that's like, oh, this could have happened, you know?
It's like he became an entirely different person.
According to her account, yeah.
The word you're looking for is crazy.
Despite how hard I tried, and how much I wanted it to be true, I could never become you. Why would Wolfgang say those words in that particular moment? I think he mistook Diana for someone else. Unless Diana is Junko or something, which would be insane.
How'd you manage to escape the boiler room after all that?
Her Bobby...
By
Yeah,
picking the door's lock.
right.
For reals?
I wasn't even thinking. I just started feeling my way back to the door in the dark. And then, well,
Yeah.
my supply bag. I remembered the spare hairpins I always kept inside. so I felt around the back and dug one out.
Yeah,
To be
makes
honest,
sense.
I have no idea how I managed to unlock the door. The whole thing was repeated trial and error.
Right, because she had to have been, from the moment that the lights went out to when she started picking at the door, she had a little bit of time. I mean, she had the time that it took for the tournament goers to get down there and get in their separate rooms, so at least a few minutes.
Just minutes of me telling myself that somehow this next attempt will finally work.
Yeah.
Whoa! Actually unlocking the doors. That's like hitting a bullseye blindfolded.
Basically, if it was that
Now
dark.
I know why it took so long for her to escape.
Right.
I realized why it happened. Getting trapped inside, I mean. The door's lock was on the outside. So, someone must have set the lock before I came downstairs. So that when I closed the door, I'd be trapped.
Right. Oh, if it was already open and already locked? I see. So if they locked the door while it was open, she closes it, locked inside.
The lock is normally on the inside, too. The killer purposely flipped it, then left the door open so you would be the one to close it.
Mm.
As for why the killer locked the door to begin with,
It was to frame Diana, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, that seems to be the most likely case. But Wolfgang died. I don't know that we can confirm whether or not he was the one who was supposed to die. Maybe Diana was supposed to die and Wolfgang was going to be framed.
right. The
You
killer
know?
made Diana trap herself inside the boiler room, so they could kill Wolfgang in front of her, and force her to remain by his body.
Which is a pretty crazy plan, honestly. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like that in any of the mainline
Had
games.
their plan worked, Diana would only be able to escape if someone from outside entered the boiler room.
Right.
By which point, that someone would be stumbling across what looks like a cut-and-dry murder case.
Hmm.
If the tournament folk found Diana, they would have been playing right into the killer's hands.
That's true, but even if that had happened, I don't think we can confirm. Like, the fact that Diana wasn't in the room, in some ways, I mean, it both does and doesn't help her, in a sense. If she had been in the room when they opened the door, the fact that she wasn't able to leave would have been reason enough to knock her off of the suspect list. You know what I mean? It's like, how would she have locked herself in there, first of all, is what they would have asked. And why would she have locked herself in there to be discovered by everyone else? It makes absolutely no sense.
Speaking of which, Diana, I'm curious to know, did you unlock the door before or after the tournament attendees arrived downstairs?
My guess would be after.
It sort of happened at the same time.
Mm.
Like, when I opened the door, there were already people walking down the stairs.
Mm.
Obviously, I couldn't stay inside the boiler room. If anyone saw me close to Wolfgang's body, it would look really bad.
Yeah, but why didn't you just tell them? You
The
know?
hallway was a bit easier to make out in the dark. So I walked over to a wall bordering one of the storage closets.
I see.
And hid behind it.
And that's where the blood on the floor there came from.
And stayed as quiet as possible.
Why did she act so sus, though? Like, if I were in her situation, if I'm being 100% completely honest, I would have said something to someone. I would have been like, yo, this, like, I just saw this, you know what I mean? And I was someone locked me in this room.
I was still bleeding a little from Wolfgang's cut, though. And some of that blood ended up dripping onto the floor around me.
Makes sense.
It's the blood on the underground floor.
Nice
It's all coming together.
art piece here. I like it.
This was shortly before us
But I don't-
tournament goers split up. And you made a run for it, yeah?
And I honestly don't blame her too much, though. Given the circumstances, the adrenaline, everything that she just saw, I don't blame her for not saying anything.
Mm-hmm. Down the hallway, up the stairs, and then as quietly as possible into my room. Since everything was still really dark, I had to patch myself using the Tozu Trinket's projection as my light.
Dang. She's not the ultimate cosmetologist for
I
nothing.
realize this is a lot, and I know it's hard to believe without proof.
It makes sense.
So, if you guys could just give me a second.
Oh, is she gonna take off what she covered on the cut? That would make the most sense, right? Reaching into her makeup bag, Diana pulled out a wipe and began scrubbing at her arm.
I cleared up the blood pretty fast.
Yeah, ooh, that's a big cut,
Luckily
actually.
for me, the cut wasn't that deep.
I
There's
see.
still a chance it may leave a scar, though.
Yeah, maybe not deep, but oof.
Holy crap!
Kai's always the one with the very dramatic reactions. I love it.
That's awful!
It's okay. I'll cover it back up again.
Why did Wolfgang attack you for no reason?
Well, clearly, she doesn't know.
I wouldn't say it was for no reason.
You're being kind of insensitive, man.
What you mean?
I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, no, I get what he's coming from. He's not saying that she deserved to be attacked or anything. He's saying he probably had a reason.
What I'm trying to say is, Wolfgang's actions may look random from an outsider's perspective, but from his perspective...
Oh, wait, is he going to propose the idea that maybe she attacked him first?
Well, judging by his behavior, it seems like he saw something which shook him to his core.
Like, there was something in the room that Diana didn't see?
That's an interesting idea.
That's impossible! It was only me and Wolfgang in the boiler room!
Oh, is he suggesting that someone else was actually in the boiler room? I don't think that's possible. Not only because Diana didn't see it, but because someone locked the boiler room door. And they didn't hear any other footsteps. You know what I mean? Like, I believe someone locked the boiler room door behind Diana and retreated back upstairs before the power went out. And I think that person is the culprit. I don't think that someone else was in the room.
I don't believe Jean meant it in a literal sense.
Wolfgang literally saw something?
Jet.
He thought he saw something, is my point.
Oh, did he think she was delusional?
You mean he had been hallucinating?
Because of a chemical?
What did Wolfgang hallucinate for him to turn out the way Diana described?
You'd be surprised by the sort of things our minds can invent.
Okay.
I'm lucky to have never experienced anything myself, but I know some who have hallucinated nasty things. Demons and monsters. Or the feeling of being tortured.
Yo, I love Jean's voice actor. Amazing job.
If Wolfgang went through something similar, I can see why he lashed out.
Okay.
Now what the heck is going on at sea?
Yeah, but why did he have the knife? Oh, I guess they had talked about it beforehand. He went down there to be prepared, right?
Of course, these hallucinations don't just happen out of the blue. More often than not, they're substance-induced.
Oh. Okay, with the way things have lined up so far, it's possible that Wolfgang came down first. Someone was waiting for him. Injected him. That's where the doc came from. Injected him with some type of drug that made him go loopy. They pushed him into the boiler room or something. He was out of it. Diana came down later. She went into the boiler room. The person was waiting, hiding, locked her in there, and he's acting all crazy because of the drug. It does not explain, however, the bruises on his neck.
Substance-induced?
Maybe he had a tussle with whoever the actual killer is.
Just say Wolfgang took a hallucinogenic.
Hallucinogenics?
One which induced a lot of fatigue, too, judging by the way he lumbered about in Diana's account.
It would explain why Wolfgang mostly stayed in one place.
True. It would. Yeah, because it was like, why was he right in that position in the first place?
One place, which happened to be in the water.
Right. How did he get in the water?
Seems very deliberate. Aye. I reckon the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious in order to drag him into the water, but knew he would eventually wake up again.
That's possible. Oh, with the rolling pin? Oh, that's right, because we had talked about this previously. So, came down, hit him with the rolling pin in the back of his neck, knocks him out, injects him with, or like drags him in there, injects him or something, leaves him in the water. Waits for Diana. Diana shows up. They lock the door behind Diana. It's possible.
So they drugged him with something which would basically make him despondent. As for where the drug came from...
Pharmacy.
Oh, no! Don't tell me the killer robbed...
I knew exploring it was a bad idea.
Bro, you can't tell me. I know we're in the midst of a trial, but you can't tell me bro doesn't look so good.
It?
My gosh.
What's this it we're talking about?
The pharmacy, obviously. Why the heck did we think leaving that place open was a good idea? Now someone's stolen an item and drugged Wolfgang.
Yeah, they should have had like shifts of people guarding, or maybe duos. Shifts of duos guarding the pharmacy.
Fuck! I knew our promise was too good to be true. I can't trust any of you guys. And don't say Wolfgang drugged himself. Who wants to be tortured by demons?
Well, stranger people do exist.
She's valid in that.
That's rich coming from you.
It's just as I predicted. Exploring the pharmacy ended up paving the way for murder. Should I have made more of an attempt to stop people from exploring? Back then, all I did was... With cautious yet determined expressions, the students entered the newly opened pharmacy. Giving everyone unrestricted access to medication sounded like a disaster in the making, but having already invoked the group's ire, after speaking my mind before, I wasn't about to make the same mistake twice. I'll just stay quiet, let them do their thing. Then again, nobody would have listened to me. So you're just making excuses for yourself, my dude. Especially not with Wolfgang in control. Even if he's right.
The perpetrator got their chemicals. I guess our next step is figuring out how they did the drugging.
Agreed. It would help us better understand the timeline of events, and potentially even validate Diana's testimony.
Sounds like you guys can leave this one to me.
Oh.
I'm the kind of person who knows someone back to front the moment I meet them. If you haven't already realized, I've gone and read this killer like an open book.
Bro, what the hell are you talking about?
You're the last person I trust to reach a correct conclusion.
I'm kind of with Winona on this. Not to hate on Jet, but like...
Just you wait! The second you hear what I gotta say, you'll be eating those words.
Okay, Jet, what you got? Putting down how Wolfgang was drugged may validate Diana's testimony. The question is, how did the killer drug him? I mean, there's only one piece of evidence we have that proves it. Odd smell, thin piece of metal, Wolfgang's neck is probably what we want.
The killer took a pill.
No.
Wolfgang to swallow it.
No.
Just jab him at that point.
How would the killer make him swallow a pill? There was no proof they restrained him.
Right.
The killer knocked Wolfie out.
Right.
Maybe that was their way of restraining him.
You can't force an unconscious person to swallow a pill.
Yeah.
What if it was a drug you don't need to eat?
Yeah, clearly. An injection.
Inhalable substance?
Not inhalable.
Like a powder or something.
The pharmacy does have a large collection of over-the-counter sedatives, but there's too many for us to isolate any specific one.
How did the killer drug Wolfgang? Out of all the ideas being thrown around, only one has any real merit. So we're supposed to agree with someone?
I bet the killer took a pill and forced Wolfgang to swallow it.
Just jab him at that point.
Oh, that was definitely it. That had to have been it, right? Jab them. I think so anyway. I can't say for certain, but... Yeah. Yes. Okay, here we go.
I bet the killer Wolfgang to swallow it.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go, baby.
When Wolfgang's wounds were discussed earlier, it was mentioned he had a tiny red dot below the bruise on his neck.
Yeah.
In the investigation, I thought this dot was a scab from a mole or pimple. But knowing Wolfgang was drugged, it's clear to see what it really is.
Yeah.
A puncture wound.
Yeah.
Considering the timeline of events, an injection would check out if Wolfgang got drugged a little after 8:15 a.m. and was already feeling the effects when Diana arrived at 8:45.
Right, 30 minutes later.
Then we're dealing with something which entered his bloodstream in under 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Any normal pill would have taken probably an hour to dissolve.
Makes sense.
Whilst an injection would be much quicker. I see.
Right.
That's probably another reason why the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious. It would have been incredibly difficult to inject him if he was still moving around.
True.
Only when they had him right where they wanted. Dazed and unable to fight back, did they plunge the syringe into his neck.
Makes sense. Doesn't really explain all the things he was saying to Diana, but...
With said syringe being filled with a hallucinogenic.
But if this all happened a few minutes after 8:15 a.m., doesn't that make it impossible to pin a suspect?
Definitely difficult. I think almost everyone was awake. I know that Kai and Damon got up at like, what, 8:20 or something? So it couldn't have been either of the two of them, but for everyone else, he's got a good point.
What? Why is it impossible?
Because everybody's got an alibi for that time.
Oh, okay, I see what he's
I
saying.
mean, Damon and I were in my dorm room, and the other party people...
8:15 a.m. Yeah, I was already in the dining hall with Jet, Mark, and Eva.
I left
Eva.
Storm right after the morning announcement and spent the rest of the hour with John.
When Nona and I were in our dorm room together.
And me and Eloise were already sitting down in the courtyard.
I see.
Toshiko was giving me the medication she grabbed from the pharmacy.
Right.
And, I stayed in my dorm room until 8:40 a.m.
Right.
Oh no. If everyone can be accounted for, we really can't assign a suspect.
It means that two people are lying. It means that someone is covering up, or at least two people are lying, right? That at least one person is covering up for someone else.
So we're back to square one?
Someone here must be lying.
Right, obviously.
And doesn't plan to stop.
What's screwing us over here? Is there a part of this mystery we're getting wrong? Or could it be we're overlooking something? Well, we got to be overlooking something. I mean, one thing that might help us discern who it is, this is what I'm thinking. One clue we haven't talked about at all is the extension cord. So we could deduce who has and who has not, who had and had not been in the basement before the power outage. Because if we can discern that, then that could narrow down who would and would not have known about the power strip. Now, granted, we don't know exactly what it was used for. I'm presuming it was used in the whatever trap was used to, make the generator blow up. It was ruled out as having no relation to the murder because the wires don't touch the water. But the position of it, the fact it's destroyed, the timing of the blackout, one coincidence is easy to wave off. But when it's coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, then there's something more going on. There's something more to the generator.
If everyone has an alibi for 8:15 a.m., is it possible the killer never actually attacked Wolfie at that time?
I mean, yeah, it is possible. This is just a theory.
But his little note said to come by at 8:15 a.m., didn't it?
It did. That's true.
Ingrid, do you remember what you said when we couldn't figure out who stole Desmond's taser?
Huh?
To be honest, I'm drawing a blank.
You suggested we switch subjects and discuss Wolfgang's injuries instead, which we did.
Oh. What is Damon suggesting here? Is Bro saying that Ingrid is trying to get us off track?
As a result, we ended up unraveling more about the case than if we had stuck to the original topic.
Okay.
Right now, we're at a dead end. If we can't get any more leads out of this current discussion, then that's a sign to switch our focus.
Right.
Switch our focus to what?
I want to take another look at Diana's testimony.
Mine?
Back when you were describing Wolfgang's death, something stuck out to me.
The thing exploding in the back. I won't give up. Until everyone knows me as boom. All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me except Wolfgang. Right, because it was a, blind flash of an explosion is all I can presume. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. And then so did everything else. Plop. Crack.
The flash of white Diana described must have been the generator exploding, with the darkness afterwards being the blackout. Think about the order of events there. In just a few seconds, the boiler room's generator explodes, and Wolfgang falls over dead.
Right.
Doesn't it sound like the two are correlated?
It does.
Didn't we go over this already?
We did. The generator has nothing to do with Wolfgang's death. Its wires weren't touching the water.
I think Diana... Someone was lying about the taser. Obviously, it went off.
Indeed. Which is why the murder weapon is the taser gun.
Well, yeah, but you needed both.
Diana said she never used the taser, though.
She's lying!
What?
Oh.
That's not true! I never fired the gun!
Well, someone did.
It's all good. I believe you.
Desmond, what you talking about?
Sure, nobody can dispute the gun was fired. What can be disputed, though, is when it got fired.
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if the killer fired that gun way in advance. Like, sometime before Wolfgang arrived downstairs and left it in the boiler room for us to find later.
Oh, that is a very, very interesting idea, because it supposes... Okay, so Desmond is basically agreeing with us that it could have been the generator, actually, that caused the electric shock.
What? So the taser gun isn't the murder weapon?
If Wolfgang wasn't killed with the taser gun or the generator, what other options are we left with?
Well, he still could have been electrocuted by the generator exploding.
The taser gun is the only option which makes sense. The murder weapon can't be anything else.
I disagree. The true murder weapon. Is it possible there's a third source of electricity we haven't considered yet? Am I grasping at straws by thinking something like that? No! I feel like this is so simple. If the generator exploded, I see no reason as to why that would not somehow conduct the water with electricity. Like, why is this difficult to comprehend?
Anyway, the only proof Diana never shot the taser is her own word.
That's true.
Ava! What do you mean?
All the evidence supporting your version of events is circumstantial. The note you showed us? That could be a fake alibi you made for yourself.
It could be.
The fact that it has the same handwriting as Wolfgang's is already suspicious.
Good point.
Couldn't that just mean the same person tricked them?
True.
If you earnestly believe Diana didn't write it, then maybe. But do you see what I'm saying? There's no proof Diana never wrote the notes. There's only her word to go by.
Eva makes a good point here.
She did write them. Everything about her entering the boiler room at 8:45 a.m. and being locked inside could be a total lie.
That's true. I mean, it could all be a lie in the sense that, like, she threw a pin in there, a hairpin in there, never actually locked the door, but flipped the door handle to make it look like it would have been locked.
I get what you're saying. But if we run with the idea that Diana was the one waiting for Wolfgang all the way back at 8:15 a.m., then we're stuck with the issue we had last time. Why did Diana wait over an hour to kill him?
Right.
That's also circumstantial.
Oh, she's suggesting the idea that maybe he wasn't... Oh, well, no. The Tozu tablet does say that he died at 8:45 or 8:50 or whatever it was.
None of us know what really went on between those two in an hour. Ruling someone out because they took a long time to murder is stupid.
I think she brings up a great point. It's like there's no evidence to suggest that they couldn't have been having a long conversation about X, Y, and Z. Like, you never know.
Without context? Sure, I'd say the same. But since the boiler room is unlocked, anyone can enter. If Diana knocked Wolfgang out, then she took over an hour to kill him with that info in her.
Okay, but who would enter?
Right. Would there ever have been a single reason for anyone to go down there?
No one wants to make a detour down some gross, freaky-looking basement. The boiler room is probably the most covert place a person can be.
Most covert place. Her words do make sense. They do. After all, I chose to meet Tozu in the boiler room for the very same reason. Exactly, assuming that no one else would casually go down there.
Diana claims she didn't write the notes, and she claims she didn't shoot the gun. But where's the hard proof she didn't do any of these things?
I think Eva brings up a great point, and I think this is probably one of the best ways to lead it either to Diana and secure that she's the killer, or somehow lead us to someone else, because she's absolutely right. There's nothing to secure those.
The answer lies in what destroyed the generator.
What? Didn't we already talk about that?
Bro, y'all are so
All
stupid.
you guys did was discuss theories, never anything concrete. So
Yeah.
going for a theory isn't good enough when our lives are on the line.
I agree.
In the same way Ava can't rule out Diana's involvement in the case, we can't rule out the generators.
Bro, let him cook. Let him cook. I agree. First time I agree with Damon this whole game.
Have to figure out what destroyed the generator? What should we do? Just throw out ideas?
Well, okay. Oh, well, Damon makes an interesting point. It's like the generator has to be involved somehow. Even if it's just for the point of turning the lights off, but it has to be involved, because if it's not, well, okay, it has to be involved because it did blow up at the time of death. There's no way it's not involved. With that being said, if Diana had some way of destroying it, then we can secure that she's the killer. If she didn't, then that could lead to someone else.
It's what we've been doing this whole time.
Oakley dokley.
Bruh.
All right, everyone. Let's put our thinking hats on. If we work together, we'll unravel this mystery for sure. Ready? On your marks.
Cassidy.
Get set, go!
Wholesome. Shrapnel, odd smell, taser gun, generator. Interesting.
Why did the generator blow up?
I bet it'll be either odd smell or shrapnel.
So, a coincidence?
Is this the best situation? To be waving stuff off as a coincidence?
Did the killer throw something at the generator that made it explode?
That's an interesting idea, but they weren't in the room probably.
Taser gun? The electrical discharge it released might have connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy,
Maybe.
which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Probably.
That's
There's
not-
no proof anything besides the taser was involved.
In
Shrapnel?
that case, the generator blew up after Wolfie got shot with the taser.
Dastardly taser, leaving so many victims in its wake.
Interesting. No, I'm long past the point of falling for the surface level diversion. In reality, the truth is floating just within reach. Okay, so we're most likely talking about the shrapnel here.
Could have just been an electrical fault.
So, a coincidence?
Winkadink.
Is this the best situation? To be waving stuff off as a coincidence?
Did the killer throw something at the generator that made it explode?
Perhaps it's the fault of the taser gun? The electrical discharge it released might have connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Probably. There's no proof any taser was
There we
involved.
go.
No, that's wrong!
Yeah, there was shrapnel.
Unfortunately, Ava, I have to disagree. You say nothing but the taser could have been involved in the murder. But there's one possibility you didn't consider.
Hey, Damon, how you gonna dish this up
Shrapnel
for
in
us?
the water.
You mean those bits of red metal which were floating around?
Right.
No.
That look like the aftermath of an explosion.
The red could have even been, I mean, it could have been like aftermaths of an explosion, a burn, but it could even be like a chemical?
Due to their proximity to the generator, it's safe to assume the two are connected.
Can't that just be debris left by the generator?
That's what I thought too, actually.
Except this debris is a completely different color. It lacks the rust the generator has accumulated.
So a bomb was rigged. Is that what he's presuming? That the shrapnel is from a bomb?
We're obviously looking at the remnants of something else, which means an object we haven't yet identified was caught in the explosion.
And floating near it was another out-of-place item, the cord. You.
This is it.
The water was also an extension cord, half of which had been burnt away.
That's true. Huh.
Did the cord get caught in the explosion?
Clearly.
Seems that cord has the misfortune of floating around the wrong place at the wrong time.
From what I saw in my investigation, the building's extension cord supply seems to be kept inside storage closet D. So in a way, yeah, it was definitely in the wrong place.
Right.
Storage closet D, huh? It was hard to make out much of it in the dark. And after the power came on, Kai came screaming for us to leave our closets. But I do recall seeing some extension cords peeking out from behind a shelf.
Since we already know the killer raided one storage closet, anyone else willing to bet they raided this one too?
Yeah.
What the hell did they need an extension cord for?
Yeah, this is the question. I mean, I can only presume it would have been part of the explosion. Maybe they used it to tie something to the generator.
Probably something involving the generator, given its proximity to the cord.
Yeah.
Same thing with the red bits, even though we don't know what they are.
Right. Right, the red shrapnel. It definitely isn't debris left by the generator, so what exactly is it? So far, nothing in the boiler room can be directly tied to the shrapnel. At least, not any of the clues that have already been discussed in this trial. Ooh, so he's suggesting that someone else basically needs to come forward. If I were to flip my thinking and consider the clues we haven't discussed yet, there's no proof what I have in mind is related to the shrapnel, but when all other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards the one that hasn't. Okay. The one thing the mysterious shrapnel might be related to is the odd smell. Wolf? No. It has to be this, right? I feel like. What does that look like? Wait, red. Could that be like a cereal box? Or something that like burnt to a crisp? There's also this. But we have already used that once. Okay, we're basically out of time. The only other thing left is this. Right?
This is it.
Good.
Hold that thought. We may be able to identify the shrapnel using context clues. During the investigation, there was a strange smell permeating the boiler room. It took me a moment to notice, but when I did, well, the best way to describe the scent would be if you mix cereal and alcohol together.
Cereal and alcohol? Talk about specific.
That is specific.
Tis a sign a chemical reaction was at play.
Wait, you recognize the smell?
Chemical reactions can produce some pretty pungent odors. Usually something to the tune of alcohol mixed with cereal, or fruits, or eggs.
I see.
I noticed the smell going into the investigation, but it had completely slipped my mind until now.
Could it be a chemical reaction was caused by the taser?
That's an interesting idea.
The gun never touched the water. There's no reason for it to be the source of the smell.
What about the generator?
Considering the state of it, that generator would smell more burnt than anything else.
That's true.
If the chemical reaction can't be explained by what we already know, like the generator or the taser gun, we need to consider the possibility that the explanation is the one piece of evidence still evading us, the shrapnel.
Okay, so he's saying that the shrapnel and the smell have to be connected because those are the only two things that we haven't been able to tie to anything else.
Can someone translate this into less complicated talk?
Bless you, Kai.
It was just a long-winded way of saying he's using process of elimination.
I know it sounds like a stretch, but if you follow this line of reasoning, a lot more questions start getting answered. Think about it. If the smell and shrapnel are linked, then whatever object the shrapnel belongs to must contain chemicals.
Okay.
So we're looking for a metal object, which is also packed with chemicals?
Surely something like that would be kept inside the pharmacy.
Yeah?
Looking at my notes... When we originally visited the pharmacy, I
There's a lot of
recorded
cleaning
everything
supplies.
I saw. A bright red metal object would have definitely caught my eye, but I don't see one written here.
I got lots of metallic objects in my dorm room, but nothing chemical. Just big old slabs of metal.
Oh, well, but that's enough. Chemical could have put inside some type of metal, right? Big old slabs of metal. Why does that sound so familiar? Hold on, that's right. What Ingrid said just now is similar to what she said the night everyone began bunking together. About her room? I guess this would explain my room too. It's littered with all sorts of fancy tools and metals. At the time, people were talking about their dorm rooms being themed around their talents. Could it be? Could the shrapnel actually be the remnants of the unique device that guy boasted about having in his room? A battery! Oh! Jet? Is that who we're talking about? The only way to know for sure is to put you on the spot. Jet, right? If I get this wrong, that'll be a rip, but I think that's who he's talking about. I think, right?
It has to
be
you! Jet, I need to ask you something.
Yes.
What's up?
Can you tell me what's inside your dorm room?
Like, a full-on list?
Whatever works.
Sure thing. I got a pretty gnarly collection of parts and accessories. Blind spot mirrors, lithium batteries... wheels, spare brakes, you name it. Oh! I even have the legendary mantle from the 1984's Grand Prix winning speedster.
That's cool.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
Cool. So, why'd you want to know?
The batteries, right?
Unless... Wait, I'm not being suspected, am I? No. Don't try to rope me into this, bro. I've got nothing to do with the murder.
I know you don't. You have an alibi. The only reason I ask is because that mysterious red shrapnel may be the remnants of one of your lithium batteries.
I see. A lithium battery might explain the smell in the air.
And lithium? That's an explosive substance.
I did not know that, in all
If
fairness.
it made contact with water, gosh, you'd be left with a mess and a half.
Interesting. If it made contact with water.
Wouldn't someone have heard an explosion, though?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Really?
Why is my chair... Sorry, my chair is being super tense for some reason. It's kind of bothering me, like it won't go back enough, but whatever.
The tournament, right before we lost power.
I don't like my camera, it bothers the frick out of me.
That was a burn.
Hold on, let me see if I can... That probably didn't help too much, but whatever.
Wait! I remember hearing it too!
I initially assumed a generator made the noise somehow. But if Jet's car batteries contain an explosive substance...
Hey, Jet, were your batteries bright red at all?
Maybe?
What do you mean, maybe?
I never took the batteries out of their packaging.
Oh, I see.
The packaging isn't red, I can tell you that, but the actual batteries? Yeah, I got nothing.
Interesting.
So it can't be proven beyond a reasonable doubt?
Pretty much.
Well, what's the reaction time of a lithium battery?
The reaction time?
Yeah, like would it have to be submerged for a while? Like
When a
what's...
lithium battery hits the water, how long does it take to combust? I think once we know that, we can decide whether or not the battery is relevant to the case.
A lithium battery would be an almost instantaneous reaction, I'm pretty sure.
Lithium isn't a metal I've worked with, but it got beat into my head never to mix it with substances it doesn't like.
Interesting.
All that electricity, the battery would have let out when it
I
hit the
see.
water. It must have went straight into poor Wolfie.
So that's another source of electricity.
There's warning labels on the battery for a reason.
Okay. If the reaction is instantaneous, then the battery would have entered the water only seconds before the generator exploded.
Right. So that's tough because... How did it enter the water? Was it like set up to the generator to fall in somehow?
That's really weird.
Is it?
According to Diana's testimony, when the explosion happened, she was still holding the taser gun. In which case, Who threw the battery into the water?
Right. It must have fallen in with the cord. Is the only thing I can think of.
Huh. Good point. We can roll out Wolfgang, since the Blackens can only be a student who kills another student.
Oh, I see.
It was only Diana and Wolfgang in the boiler room. So unless Diana herself was the one to throw the battery, then the battery can't play a part in the murder.
I disagree. I think, because we still haven't completely explained how the cord was used. I think it's possible that the cord is somehow connected to how the battery fell into the water at a specific time, maybe.
I didn't throw the battery. I promise.
The shrapnel and generator are too close for comfort. They must be correlated. I'll admit that Diana throwing the battery is a possibility, but that's all it is, a possibility. There may still be another way for the battery to enter the water, and until I've ruled that out, I won't settle for a culprit just yet. Shrapnel, taser gun. Okay, it's got to be the extension cord, right?
The battery is related to the case. Only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
Oof.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere, so it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps
that must be it.
Something akin to what Eva described?
If that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun?
To mislead?
Maybe it's a red herring.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to me.
Everybody's quick to say the battery was thrown, but when I consider the boiler room and which objects the killer could have leveraged, what that person considers impossible starts to sound anything but.
The
Okay.
battery is related to the case.
Battery clearly couldn't have fallen.
Really?
Now is not the time for jokes.
I fully thought that's what it was. It wasn't meant to be one.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere, so it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described?
If that battery is the murder weapon,
Would it have
why
fallen
is there a
from the
taser?
generator?
Maybe it's a red herring.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to me.
Everybody's quick to say the battery is thrown, but when I consider the boiler room and which objects the killer could have leveraged, what that person considers impossible starts to sound anything but. So I'm thinking the generator could be used as a point
To the case, only Diana
to disagree with Toshiko.
The battery clearly couldn't have.
Okay.
No, that's wrong!
No. The battery might actually have fallen from the generator.
Yeah, but how would that have happened? With the cord?
What makes you say that?
The shrapnel's position in front of the generator suggests there's a correlation between the two.
Yeah.
However, it's unlikely Diana threw the battery at the generator. Not only is the boiler room difficult to see in, the generator is positioned far enough from the concrete platform that Diana, with her wounded arm, will need to stand on the platform's edge to make the shot.
Yeah.
Which would obviously put her in danger of being attacked by Wolfgang again.
Right.
Yeah. Wolfgang was really close. He could reach over to me if he wanted.
If the battery hadn't been thrown, the only other possibility is that it fell down into the water. And considering the layout of the boiler room, what else could the battery fall off of? Except the generator.
Yeah, but what would have caused it to fall off? That's kind of... I have an idea. My idea is... I don't know how likely this is, but what if When the killer knocked out Wolfgang with the pin, injected him, took him into the boiler room, they tied the extension cord, like, to Wolfgang's, like, arm, like, to, like, Wolfgang's, ankle or something, let's say, hypothetically, right? And it was tied to the battery sitting, like, on top of the water or something. And then, when Wolfgang started to make his way out of the water towards Diana, that would cause the extension cord to pull the battery into the water, causing it to explode, and that would also result in the extension cord being, half of it being completely burnt. I think that's an idea, right?
Are you saying the battery was sitting on top of the generator?
Not on top, but maybe inside? What? Suspended over, leaning over, teetering over. Suspended. I don't know.
I got it.
Okay, so it was like the
battery may have been suspended over the generator.
Okay, so he's proposing the idea that the battery would have been tied with the extension cord over the generator, but how would the extension cord have been broken?
Suspended over.
If the battery is suspended by something, then the presence of that item starts to make a lot more sense. It does, but I don't understand. There would have needed to be something that could cut or burn the extension cord to make the battery fall into the water. I can't seem to think of something that would do that, but with my theory, if it was like tied to his leg or something, I don't know. I mean, he's obviously talking about the extension cord, right?
This is it.
I just don't really get it, though.
The killer could have tied the extension cord around the battery and slung the battery over the generator.
Okay.
If the cord and battery were tied together at the time of the generator's explosion, it would explain why half of the cord had been burned away.
It does, but it does not explain how the battery got into the water.
The more you explain it, the more unbelievable it sounds.
What if that's the point? Maybe the killer chose a crazy method because no one would believe it.
I don't see how weaving a cord into the mix is any more beneficial than leaving it out. If anything, the cord adds extra weight.
Which would be especially inconvenient for Diana, because her arm is bleeding.
Right. It wouldn't benefit Diana to hold the cord.
Right.
So, what if she didn't? Something else may have been supporting the cord instead.
The generator? Or what? Something like... Oh, girl, I don't know. Wolfgang. A third person, the cord wasn't involved, an object. I'm gonna say Wolfgang, because this was my idea. Please. Dang it! A third person? Wait, from like, through the, Oh, I don't know. The cord wasn't involved. An object.
I got it.
Throughout this trial, we've assumed the killer held the battery in some form or another. If the battery was on its own, the killer tossed it in. If the battery was wrapped with a cord, the killer held the other end of the cord. But in the same way something else can hold the battery, can't something else also hold the cord?
Ugh, my head's starting to spin.
Are you talking about something which could keep the cord in place?
If I imagine the cord and the battery it's tied around in front of the generator in the same spot where the shrapnel has surfaced. This?
They managed to sling something over the generator using one of them boxes.
I guess it could work if you put the box on top of the generator.
Because that's not an eyesore.
Considering the generator's size, I doubt there'd be enough space for a box to fit. If there was, the box in question would still be up there right now.
Nice going, Damon. Yeah, I don't really know where Damon is going with this. I can still turn this debate around. Thank you for making this easy on me. Oh, The generator?
Didn't you say the generator is what the battery's being slung
over? Okay. I'm just confused. I'm literally just clicking. This?
This is it.
Oh, the vent.
The killer tied the cord to the vent.
What vent?
The one above the generator. It connects the boiler room and the dining hall.
Okay.
There's a vent above the generator?
You should remember some light shining into the boiler room. That's where the vent is.
Okay, but this does not explain how the battery fell into the water. Like, I feel like I'm stupid because I'm not piecing this together.
The vent itself is set a bit far back into the wall. So, you probably assumed the spot was a small window or something.
If the boiler room and the dining hall are separated by one vent, does this make the wallpaper thin, or...?
Girl.
There's two vents. The boiler room vent and the dining hall vent. Both are connected via a small ventilation shaft. I was able to get a close look at the boiler room vent after Ava and I woke up, which is why I know these details.
Okay.
How close is close for someone under 6 foot?
Ava helped me reach the vent.
By?
Bruh.
Letting me sit on her shoulders.
Quite the visual.
I love Winona. She's so funny. Don't rub it in.
Anyway, if the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end around the battery, they could suspend the battery over the generator.
I mean, okay, but you still need... Okay, I have an idea. It's possible. If that's where it would have been suspended, that doesn't make sense either. I was gonna say, I suppose it's possible that while everyone was gaming, someone came into the dining hall, leaned down at the vent, and untied it so that it fell into the water? But there were two vents, so how would they? I don't know.
Something like that would result in an explosion.
Wait, how?
What do you mean?
You say the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end to the battery. However, indoor extension cords are much longer than regular cords. They can be upwards of 9 or more meters in length, as opposed to the average cord's 2 meters. 9 meters is significantly longer than the distance between the vent and the boiler room floor.
Okay.
If the killer wanted to tie the battery to the cord's other end, they would be tying it to something which is already submerged in water.
Okay.
I see. It is an impossible setup.
Not necessarily. The killer can have greatly reduced the length of the cord by doing that. By cutting it. How did the killer reduce the length of the cord? Cutting, tying, wrapping. Man, I really want to say wrapping it around Wolfgang because it's my idea. I don't think it's this, but I'm going to try it just because I want to. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I got it.
The extension cord is pretty thin and flimsy.
Yeah.
If the killer wanted the battery to be secure, they need to wrap a lot of cord around it. Probably to the point there wouldn't be much spare cord remaining.
True.
Which is a good thing, because this spare cord is what the battery will be suspended by.
Okay, I get the idea.
So long as the spare cord isn't too long, the battery will sit safely above the water.
Okay.
So much effort.
I mean, it's the whole idea of the battery being suspended is not that crazy. They just need to explain how the battery hit the water.
Agreed. How do you even submerge the battery into the water under those circumstances?
Right. How simple. Untie it by adjusting the cord's position. All the killer would need to utilize is a certain aspect of the boiler room. The vent? That's the only thing I can think of.
This is it.
So I was right in my idea?
Like I mentioned earlier, I gave the vent a close look after originally waking up in the boiler room. Part of my inspection included opening the vent to get a better look at the other side.
the vent can be opened?
Not all the way, but far enough for the vent to cause a domino effect if then closed.
What you mean?
In our case, a domino effect involving the extension cord tied to it.
I think I get what he's saying.
If we assume the vent must be open for the battery to remain a safe distance above the water,
closing it.
Pulley system.
Oh, so he's saying closing the vent would be enough to allow it to hit the water?
To prevent the battery from entering the water, the vent is literally pulling the entire cord backwards.
Okay.
Ergo, it's not just the killer's own measurements keeping the battery in place, but the vent itself.
Okay, I get the idea.
Having opened one of these vents before, I can tell you how tough they are to move.
Wrapping my fingers around the grate directly in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could. Oh, so wait.
Definitely isn't heavy enough to pull one shut. It takes an actual person to close one.
So what he's saying is that it would have been open at first when the battery was tied, and that someone would have had to close it in order for it to touch the water. What I need to know is, are you saying that opening one of them, because there's two, right? You've got the dining room and the boiler room, and there's a vent on each side. Is he saying that opening one opens the other in tandem? Is that the idea?
Which is great for the killer, because it means they get to maintain full control over when the battery enters the water.
Okay.
If they close the vent, the cord should slide forward and submerge the battery into the water.
Okay.
When that happens, the boiler room water becomes electrified by the battery's components, which in turn causes electricity to pass directly into the body of Wolfgang, who is standing in the water.
Exactly which vent is the cord being tied to?
It would have to be... I suppose it could have been tied to either one, right?
Room vent.
Funny.
I think Winona is going to get onto what I was thinking. If it's tied to the boiler room vent, how the frick did they manage to close it?
Earlier, you said there's a small vent shaft connecting the boiler room vent to the dining hall vent. Assuming the killer is operating this trap from outside the boiler room, since we know there were only ever 2 people in that room,
right,
how would they even be able to reach the boiler room vent?
Well, the only way is if the 2 vents open and close together, right?
Like you said, there's a separate vent in front of it.
She has a point. I've been assuming the cord is tied to the boiler room vent. It's possible, but I failed to consider the ventilation shaft. So it's possible it was actually tied to the one outside. I mean, they could have prepared this beforehand by going into the dining hall, tying it to the vent that was on that side, right? Throwing it through or something, I don't know. It becomes considerably harder to reach the boiler room vent if you have to reach down that shaft first. Not just that, I never tested to see if the boiler room vent can open inwards. I only got it to open outwards. By that logic, a vent on the opposite side of the shaft...
This could only mean one thing. The killer never tied the cord to the boiler room vent. They tied the cord to the dining hall vent.
Okay, sure.
That just creates the same problem as before, but reversed. Instead of the dining hall vent making it hard to close the boiler room vent, it's the boiler room vent making it hard to reach the dining hall vent.
Well, no, if they were just in the dining hall.
The vents may seem like an obstruction, especially since they can't be opened all the way. There's a very easy workaround. All the killer needs to do is fit the extension cord between the grates of the boiler room vent.
Right.
Oh yeah, the grates. You mentioned something about them earlier. Right. When you described opening the boiler room vent.
I ran my fingers around the grate directly in front of me. I pulled as hard as I could.
If you can fit your fingers between the grates, there's no damn way you can't fit a cord.
Right.
Exactly. After which, you could slide the cord through the ventilation shaft, and out the opposite end.
Right.
For the killer to then go and tie to the...
Actually...
Okay, Ulysses! What you got for me, King?
Hello?
What is it now?
There's something I still don't understand about your theory. It's to do with the logistics of the cord.
The logistics?
Its size.
We're back to discussing this again? Never mind, I'll find a way to combat his argument just like I've done countless times already, bruh. What you got for us, Ulysses? Generator blackout extension cord.
I understand the boiler room vent can be opened. Maybe not all the way, but enough to fit an extension cord through. What's bothering me, however, is that the boiler room vent was closed during the investigation, which means it must have been closed during the murder.
No, not necessarily.
I don't see a problem here. The killer doesn't even need to open that vent.
They need to close it.
He could simply slide the cord between the grates.
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. How can the killer fit both those plugs between the gaps in the vent grate? Either the boiler room vent was never involved,
he brings up a good point.
It was open at some point, and someone else closed it. That is my issue.
Okay. Okay, thank goodness that wasn't too hard. His argument might have made sense if it were for one fatal flaw.
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't.
Oh, that was it? What's his point? I mean, I get what he's saying. Oh, if they just cut it off or burnt it?
If you insert the cord through the boiler room vent first, it's possible to fit the cord through.
How?
You just need to start with the internal plug. The cords in storage closet D have a slim internal end. This can easily be slid through the gaps in the vent. Once the killer ties the cord around the dining hall vent, presumably with a knot, the cord won't be at risk of sliding back out either.
Okay.
I see. When put like that, whether or not the boiler room vent was closed isn't really relevant.
Well, no, it is relevant. It would need... Oh, the boiler room vent. True. That would have still been closed.
How'd you figure all this out from some shrapnel and an extension cord? This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it makes some sense. I still think... I like this idea. I think this is really fun. I think it's really unique. I think, you know, there are other ways that this, like... The issue that I'm having with this idea is that I feel like that there are other ways this could have been done. Especially if all you have to work with is an extension cord and a battery. Like I said, it could have been tied to Wolfgang's ankle. He was out of it. Why would he have noticed it? You know what I mean? And if he started going forward at Diana to try and get out of the water, pull the battery down. You know what I mean? Like... and that's just one idea. I bet that there are potentially other ways this could have worked as well.
At the same time, what he's describing sounds plausible.
Since the battery was suspended over the generator, it's no surprise the machine ended up the way it did.
I see.
Fortunately for Diana, she was safe by virtue of remaining on the platform. I imagine that was also the killer's intention.
Yeah, to frame her.
The killer kept her on the platform?
They must have known they were injecting Wolfgang with a hallucinogenic. So, it's possible they hoped his behavior would scare Diana off from entering the water.
I suppose so.
Although, even if Diana did die, the moment people realize only she and Wolfgang entered the boiler room, they'd probably call the whole thing a murder gone wrong.
I suppose so.
Well, all of this certainly changes things.
It does.
If the killer is someone who needed access to the vent and needed to be operating from the dining hall.
Right. So what she's about to presume is that the killer is most likely someone who attended the tournament.
Then everyone who attended the tournament is a suspect.
Absolutely.
What?
Yeah. 100%.
No way!
One of the tournament attendees is the killer. How did I not realize sooner? The fact the killer could even access the vent means they must have been in the dining hall at the time of Wolfgang's murder. This is true. I mean, everyone was focused on the game, though. If the killer knew, this is what I'm thinking. If the killer knew that by nature of the lithium battery exploding right next to the generator, would cause the lights to go out, it could have been anyone. It doesn't mean it could have been anyone. It means it could have been anyone in the tournament or Toshiko and Ingrid, because those were the only other two in that building.
So we can reduce it down to 8 people. Damon, Kai, Grace, Eva, Cassidy, Jed, Mark, and John.
In fact, I would even say this. I would say that if it is Toshiko or Ingrid, it's a risk that they have to take, right? Going into the dining hall and closing the vent. It's a huge risk, because if someone sees them, they're screwed. However, doing it is potentially worth the risk because of this exact situation. It puts the blame on all 8 of them.
It was probably Cassidy. She set the whole thing up.
Hey, I was only trying to improve the mood.
It wasn't me. I was playing a game with Damon when the lights went out.
That's true. I feel like the most concrete and secure people are Damon and Kai.
I had to play music.
Mark, you're a little... No.
Never touched my equipment.
I meant I was watching Kai and Damon play.
I was spectating as well.
Me too.
Me 3. And Cass too, I think. I was too focused on the game to remember who was or wasn't there.
If everyone's telling the truth, then all 8 of y'all were crowded round the same spot?
Interesting.
Near the right wall where the TV was set up. It's also the furthest wall from the vent.
Seems like someone is lying again.
Right. The tournament participant who flipped the vent, I could only deduce who that person is by determining everyone's positions directly before the blackout. The problem is, I myself had been totally preoccupied with the game. I never got a good look at the actual people around me. Never got a good look. Wait, is that it? Oh, see, I think he's going to catch on to exactly... Well, I never got a good look at the others. I can still deduce their general positions, and if they were near me, from whether or not I heard them. Think, Damon, think. Who and what did I hear back then? It was you. The only person I never heard was Mark. Right? I feel like Mark was the only person we didn't hear. There's no way Mark is the killer. There's no way. I haven't been sus of him at all. Because I thought we did hear Ava. Hold on. Let's go through. Grace, and I remember the photo. We saw Grace, Kai, yep, we're good. John was there. I'm 90% certain Eva was there, and so was Jet. And I know with certainty that Cass was too, so it's only Mark. He's the only option. Speak ever. With that said, he was definitely mixing music before the blackout occurred. He must have been watching my game with Kai too, because I remember his music becoming more frantic after Kai gained the upper hand. That means he must have been at his DJ pad, which was on the opposite side of the room to the vent. Who? I don't... Ava?
It has to be you!
There's no way. There's no way.
The killer is Ava.
This is wild.
Huh?
Ava's the only one whose position I can't account for. Mark was mixing a track at the time Kai and I were playing a game, so I know he must have been stationed at his pad. And everyone else? I remember hearing their voices over the sound of the game. Everyone. Except Ava.
Oh, frick.
In fact, the last I saw her, she was standing in the corner of the room with the vent.
There's no way. There's no way. This has to be some cap.
So Ava flipped the vent?
Oh man! And the reason no one heard it is because the music was too loud!
Yeah, and they were all focusing on the game. There's no way. Wait, is it Ava? Okay, if the killer actually ended up being Ava, this would be one of the craziest turns of events. Because Ava and Wolfgang, from what I can tell, were kind of meant to be the trio, right? Us, Ava, and Wolfgang. If they both die, there's no way.
Me? I was just doing what I was told.
No one's blaming you. We're all in on Eva.
Oh, frick, man. I have to, like, stand. Mother trucker, please adjust. Frick heavens. Oh, this is crazy.
Care to contribute anything, Eva?
I didn't flip the vent.
That's it?
Damon says you did.
What you gonna do, Eva?
Damon says a lot of things.
He does?
While you aren't technically wrong, I don't think that counts as an argument.
And I'm with Ulysses on this.
His theory is full of plot holes. He just refuses to point them out.
Like what, Ava?
Plot holes.
The cord.
What about the cord? Wait, if she's gonna say that she didn't know about the cord, that's some cap. We know she knows about the cord.
In retrospect, you were so quick to accuse me that you overlooked a huge problem with the cord. If I'm the killer, how did I dispose of it?
Dispose of the cord?
Trick question. You left the cord tied to the vent.
Well, I feel like we would have noticed it, right?
What then? It unraveled by itself and fell into the water?
Yeah, you got me there.
How did Eva get rid of the cord? I'm sure it's possible she knew to untie it at the right time. When did Eva untie the cord? When everyone left. Before the blackout, during the blackout, right? Yeah. No one would have seen her doing it. This is a crazy theory.
Who just untied it during the blackout.
Sorry about the freaking lighting, y'all. This is super annoying.
She untied the knot during a blackout?
Being the one who set up the trap, Ava could have easily practiced untying the knot in advance. Or she just made it a really simple knot. Either way, it wouldn't be any more difficult than untying your shoelaces with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
If Ava untied the cord, did it also fall into the water?
Diana's testimony says as much.
Right.
It does?
During your confrontation with Wolfgang, you recounted hearing certain sounds.
Did she? I actually don't remember this. I'm not like you, I'll never be like you. I won't give up until the world knows. I won't give up until I'm known as Kaboom. All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me except Wolfgang. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. And then so did everything else. Plop.
The first sound was obviously the battery exploding. And the second, when you first recounted the story, you said it was the sound of the knife hitting the water. But why would a thin knife make such a big splash?
Is he proposing it was the cord?
Then, do you think...
What really caused that sound was probably the extension cord falling into the water.
Interesting.
When you say it that way, it does seem likelier.
Okay, I get that.
I should have known. The kid who lied about her talents and tried to lie about the Tozer trinkets. I should have known. I should have known only Eva fucking Sadaka would tell Wolfgang!
Dang, she's passionate about
You were
this.
right that Eva's lied to us several times already.
But she's just an athlete. How did someone like her come up with something this complicated?
Well, I think one of the main reasons, her talent, I think actually could support the idea that she could come up with something this complicated. Someone who knows math really, really well.
Her talent would give her the upper hand in all that measurement nonsense.
Absolutely,
Even
that's
so,
true.
The sheer volume of items Eva had to steal.
True. She also would have... Another thing that incriminates Eva, actually, is the idea that she was Diana's roommate. Which means she knew which room they were staying in. You know what I mean?
She's been under heavy suspicion these past few days. How did she sneak into Jet and Desmond's rooms without being noticed?
That's an interesting
It's
point.
impossible. Wolfgang even got mad at me for being late to the dining hall by a few minutes.
Hmm.
I've been watched the entire time I've been here. There's no way Jet wouldn't have noticed me taking his battery.
Unless she was working with someone.
Right on. No one steals from me.
They already did.
And anyway, how could I enter the cord through the boiler room vent when I can't even reach the top of the generator?
She brings up a pretty good point,
If
actually.
anything, you should be suspicious of the taller students.
I see what she's saying. I understand why people are doubtful, but I can't let the conversation continue like this. Ava did, in fact, have a way to reach the vent. All she had to use was the railing. That's what I'm guessing, right?
This is it.
Yeah.
Ava, to reach the top of the generator, you simply stood on one of the boxes in the boiler room.
Never mind, I thought it was... Well, whatever.
There's already a huge pile of them near the generator itself. You could easily push one up against the machine.
Ah. She would have known about those boxes in advance, too. Since she explored the boiler room with you ahead of time.
Interesting.
Okay, I could have used the boxes to reach the top of the generator.
The issue, though, is that the generator is submerged in the water and the boxes aren't, so one of the boxes would have been wet.
I could have fit the cord through both vents if I inserted the right plug. I can do both of those things without attracting suspicion. What I can't do without attracting suspicion is opening the vent.
Oh, because it was too tough?
Which vent are we talking about?
Both of them.
The dining hall one. Based on what Damon's saying, it needs to be opened for the killer strap to work.
That's true.
But opening it during the tournament is asking to be caught, and opening it before the tournament is useless because Jet, Cassidy, and Mark would see it while setting up.
That's true. Ooh, that's a good point. That calls into question the whole system of setting it up. Like, how did the killer set it up and tie the cord? This is interesting.
Oh yeah, you're right. If there was an open vent with a cord tied to it, I would have noticed for sure.
Now that Eva mentions it, I'm pretty sure the vent was closed during setup.
So someone actually opened it during setup and tied the cord to it? The vent was closed?
See, there's no way I can execute this trap without being caught.
She brings up a good point.
It's a stupid trap anyway. All the cord and vent stuff is too complicated. There's a billion ways it could go wrong.
She brings up a good point,
Damon's
too.
just making stuff up. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah?
That's bullshit.
Can it, you four-eyed troll! You can't talk your way out of this one!
Hey, yo, Grace is gonna try to pin her down.
The only person who would be sick-minded enough to kill Wolfgang is you, and only you! Don't you fucking try and tell me otherwise!
Damn. Here we go. Generator, game tournament timelines, shrapnel,
You can't say I'm the murderer
storage
just because I
closets,
sat near a
extension
vent.
cord.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive.
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong?
It's possible.
Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
That's possible, actually.
Any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
Yeah.
So...
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes.
There's even less evidence for that!
That's true.
No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament, and now you're saying I'm a killer.
Just happened? Never mind what was said before. Focus on the facts. I just need to focus.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive.
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong?
It could be.
Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
Don't know.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes.
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence? No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament.
That was the only thing I could think of. She didn't just happen to be there, she wanted to be there.
No. It's no coincidence you were at the game tournament. In fact,
she volunteered.
It's not even a coincidence the tournament took place during the murder.
What do you mean?
It was impossible for me to notice this earlier, but the killer timed the tournament so it would grant them an alibi for the murder.
Whoa! Are you accusing me of murder again? I thought you said Ava was the culprit.
Bro, calm down.
The detective isn't supposed to switch suspects in the last stretch like this. You're totally throwing the audience for a loop.
Bro,
Not in a good way.
That's not what he's doing.
Except neither of you played a role in determining what time the tournament would be held.
It was Ava.
The only person to determine that was Ava.
That's a great point. She said, let's do this time. Bro. When I was training my talent, I did most of my studying at 9 a.m. The brain is most active and ready to absorb information around that time. I think this effect could help our video game skills. A 9 a.m. tourney, huh? Wouldn't be the first time. Screw it, let's do 9 a.m., 1 hour after the morning announcement. That's wild.
Tomorrow. So when Cassidy announced the tournament, she realized it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
This is crazy.
An alibi for herself.
Wow.
That's insane. How could she have come up with something like that on the spot?
Well, if she already had the whole plan that Damon named out, then maybe.
It wasn't just for an alibi either. Since Ava knew about the tournament, she could time the setup of her trap accordingly.
True. So to answer her question of why neither Cassidy, Jet, nor Mark noticed the open vent, was it covered by furniture? When I think back on what Cassidy told me earlier today, before the tournament began, I can discern exactly when Ava opened the vent. I'm not sure. After breakfast, after stacking the furniture. Has to be this, right? Yeah.
Cassidy, you told me Ava approached you yesterday and asked to help set up the tournament. What exactly did she say?
When did I tell you this again?
Girl.
Before the tournament?
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, Eva wanted to see what sort of equipment the tournament needed. After I showed her Mark's stuff and told her we were redecorating the dining hall, she offered to help.
Back when this conversation happened, you still hadn't decided what time you were going to start redecorating, right?
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. Eva really helped me out, though. She said she would stack the dining hall furniture we weren't going to use later that night.
So she offered to do that. That's pretty incriminating.
Afterwards, we could focus
There's no way.
on arranging the technical stuff in the morning.
All right.
Wait, she did that the night before?
Jet, Mark, Eva, and I came to the dining hall at around 8:40 p.m. probably. We stacked the table and the dining chairs against the left wall, and the sofas we moved to the middle of the room, maybe a little more to the right. Then we all went back to our dorms.
So she could have just opened the vent then, right?
Well, I was kind of hungry, so I stayed back a few minutes before leaving.
Hold the phone. If those sofa chairs were moved to the middle of the room, why did I see one over in the corner this morning?
Because it got moved.
Eva pushed it there.
Eva what?
Right.
She didn't want to take part in the tournament. Just watch it from the side. That's what she told me.
So she very conveniently moved a sofa in front of the
I
vent.
never thought it was weird or anything. Some people just like sticking to the walls of rooms, you know?
Wow.
We're talking about the sofa in the upper left corner, aye? The one next to the coffee table.
Yes, sir, Eva!
Yo, when the power went out, I'm pretty sure Damon ran over to that corner to look through... Yeah, a vent!
When Ava was already there. Huh. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. This was not on my bingo card.
Did she move the chair there so it would be easier to reach the vent later?
Why would I when Cassidy just said the vent was closed during setup?
True.
Because you were covering for yourself in advance.
Huh?
The vent may not have been open at the time, but I'm willing to bet that's because you were still creating your trap.
In what way?
Let's say Ava took a detour for the boiler room first, and slid the internal plug through both vents. After
Okay.
going upstairs and helping rearrange the dining hall furniture, during which she moves a sofa chair so it obscures the vent, she heads outside and hides until everyone else goes to bed. Then, she walks back in and opens the vent.
Oh, because setup was the night before. That's why. Okay, okay.
So Eva took complete advantage of them?
Not my fault those two are so trusting.
Bruh.
You think a big guy like me was gonna be afraid of some mathlete? No way!
I mean, she did lie about a lot of important things.
This is crazy.
Her talent being one of them.
She also cried and fled the scene after we found out, no?
I just thought it was cool. She wanted to help me out.
Damn.
Hey, can we backtrack a little? Like, to before all this Ava talk?
What do you mean?
Why? What happened?
It's to do with the chair's position.
The chair?
You guys keep saying it was in front of the vent, but Damon stood in front of the vent during the blackout. If the chair was in the position you all say it was, it should have blocked him from crouching in front of the vent.
That's probably true.
Probably just moved it during the blackout.
Eh?
Before the blackout, it was positioned with its back to the left wall.
Oh, that chair. Where was the TV? Oh, on the right. Okay. I see.
However, when I ran over to the vent, the chair was suddenly pushed up against the northern wall, out of the vent's range.
Yeah. Damn.
Ava must have shifted the chair while everyone was initially panicking from the blackout.
Wow.
I'm guessing she hoped people would misremember its position and think it was always along the northern wall.
Oh, man! So I totally fell for it?
This is
I
insane.
also remember seeing a speaker in that corner.
Yeah, about that. This morning, Jet, Mark, and I arrived at the dining hall a little after 8 a.m. Then Eva came a few minutes later. She helped us put together Mark's equipment, which was stationed in the lower right corner of the room.
Right.
And then she volunteered to place speakers around the room while Jet and I set up the TV next to the fireplace.
Oh,
Leaving
man.
the speaker near the vent. Did Eva do that to drown out Diana and Wolfgang's scuffle?
Oh, gosh. This is insane.
Yeah, and in turn exacerbate the effects of the other speakers. There were almost a dozen spread throughout the dining hall, some even sandwiched into corners they didn't need to be.
This is crazy. I take back what I was saying before. This is... Wow. Wow.
Eva probably placed them that way to cover as much ground as possible.
What?
Still, Eva entered the dining hall at 8:10 a.m., right? So, wouldn't it be impossible for her to knock out Lawyer Man at 8:15 a.m.?
That's a good point. If she was already... Yeah, he would have needed to be knocked out.
According to Eva, she arrived around 8:10 a.m., but it's possible she actually arrived much later.
Well, does anyone else remember?
Since there's no clock in the dining hall, he just couldn't have known. In fact, that might be why Ava seemed so eager to arrange Mark's equipment in the morning. Upon realizing it had a clock, she wanted to ensure it would only be powered on after she arrived.
Holy
It seems
balls.
the setup of this trap occurred across 3 phases. Phase 1 took place in the boiler room and involved tying a lithium battery to an extension cord. The cord was then slid through the grates of the closed boiler room vent, presumably until it almost poked out the other end of the ventilation shaft. Phase 2, by contrast, was carried out in the dining hall. The aforementioned cord was tied around the dining hall vent, which was then left open. This must have happened after Cassidy, Mark, and Jet were already done redecorating.
Yeah.
For the third and final phase, the battery was carefully suspended over the generator.
Wouldn't it have already been suspended?
All these steps combined created a pulley system, which could only be triggered by closing the dining hall vent. Is there anything I'm missing?
I don't know.
How I closed the vent.
Yeah.
Huh?
No one has explained how I closed the dining hall vent.
That's true.
Obviously, I didn't do it during the blackout. According to Damon, the blackout can only happen after the vent is closed.
Right.
So, I must have stood up, gone behind the chair, and closed the vent during the tournament.
That's true.
That's stupid. Someone is definitely going to notice that sort of conspicuous movement.
She brings up a good point.
It doesn't matter if that someone is on the opposite side of the room. They're going to notice.
we overlook such an obvious discrepancy?
It was right. Standing up would look really suspicious. Yeah, it's like someone would have seen her move away, which is exactly why she used all that to circumvent the problem. The game?
Hey, the tournament equipment is innocent. It was on the
What?
other side of the room from Eva.
What? I don't know. The speakers? I'm not really sure. I'll try this.
Who cares if the music was loud? That doesn't stop us from being able to see her.
I feel a little stupid. The chair?
This is it.
I'm not sure I understand.
The location of your chair bypasses this problem entirely. Towards the vent, all you need to do is set the chair to recline and reach behind you.
Oh. She wouldn't have had to stand up. Interesting.
Set the chair to recline?
All the dining hall chairs have the ability to recline. Some were already set to that position at the start of the tournament.
Wow.
including Ava's.
Wow.
With her chair in recline, Ava can easily reach down and close the vent without shifting from her position.
Holy balls, that's insane. And then get up and move the chair, right?
It's not perfectly inconspicuous, but it's subtle enough to not catch most people's attention.
Wow.
Especially those focused on watching a video game competition.
Holy balls.
Well, am I wrong?
Wow. This is not how I expected this to go at all.
This isn't funny. Just because I was sitting in front of the vent doesn't mean I was the one who triggered the mechanism.
Also, I didn't realize where the vent was in relation to the entrance to the dining hall.
No one can sneak up behind you without drawing attention. Especially when all the lights were still on.
Yeah.
That's just dumb! Where I was sitting shouldn't make me a murderer.
This is crazy.
Even so, with everything we've spoken about...
She needs to disprove it.
Everything? Did you already forget what was said earlier? Just look at all the items I would need to set up this murder. The battery, the extension cord, the rolling pin, the taser, the syringe, and the supposed drug used with it. How could I have collected all of those things?
I think she brings up a good point. This brings up something I brought up last time, which is the only one that we know of that went to the pharmacy, at least sometime shortly before the gaming tournament, was Toshiko. So, I don't know.
Wolfgang and everyone else hated me because I lied about my talent. They were on their guard whenever I was around. You think Jet and Desmond would just let me walk into their rooms and take their stuff?
I think she brings up a good point.
That's true. We still haven't explained how she robbed 2 people's rooms without being caught.
Unless you can prove I had the chance to get all this stuff, you can't make me out to be the killer.
I'm realizing something, something that's coming to my mind. Everything that's been explained makes sense. It really does. I think there is one person who absolutely could have stolen from everyone's rooms without being noticed. And that would have been Ingrid. Because Ingrid was collecting clothes for laundry. So she would have been going up to every single room, and if she simply slipped inside for a minute, grabbed whatever she needed, and she could have even hid it in the clothes. Like, I don't know.
Fine. I'll show proof. Only you could obtain the items necessary for this murder.
Really? How? How did Eva attain the... Eva had my blackmail. Eva had Desmond's blackmail. Oh, she did have Desmond's blackmail, so she would have assumed that he had weapons, right?
I got it.
Oh, balls. That's crazy.
Ava, you were well aware of the existence of those items. For starters, everyone heard about Jet's battery.
Yeah.
It was common knowledge due to his boasting.
Wait, so it's all my fault? Ouch.
Ouch indeed, bruh.
Since the dorms aren't locked, you could have easily snuck in and grabbed the battery while no one was inside.
Yeah, I guess.
The battery is lightweight too, so you wouldn't have trouble carrying it. For the rest of your plan, The syringe and drugs are both readily available in the pharmacy. And as for the taser, you may not have known about its existence right away, but you still had every incentive to search Desmond's room because you received his blackmail.
Damn.
Eva? You knew my blackmail this whole time and never said anything?
Dang, this is crazy on Damon's part to call her out like this.
So what?
Huh?
So what if I knew? I wasn't the only one. Damon knew your blackmail as well.
True, I was about to say, she could just shift it right back on him. Oh, and now she's gonna say, and not only that, Damon had Wolfgang's blackmail. She's got some leverage
He
here.
read it out loud to everyone earlier, didn't he?
Damon knew almost everything I did. He knew where the items used in this murder were stored. He knew the layout of the boiler room
That's
and
true.
the storage closets. He knew all sorts of things.
That's true, but why would he have laid out this entire plan if he was the killer?
The only
You
thing
know?
he didn't know is the one thing more important than any piece of physical evidence.
The hell are you talking about?
Seriously.
See, you still don't know. You still don't know that we never saw eye to eye.
Oh, rip.
Huh?
Eye to eye on the not killing each other stuff?
On Wolfgang.
Oh.
Eh? Damon saw the way Wolfgang scolded me and treated me like a bad guy, and he thought I hated him the same way he did. But unlike Damon, I never wanted Wolfgang to die.
Rip.
What the?
That's a crazy accusation.
Whoa! That's a loaded accusation.
It is.
Not a first for this trial.
If you thought you saw the worst of Damon after the dummy trial, you underestimate just how low he can stoop.
I feel like this has to be the moment where she brings out the fact that he has Wolfgang's.
I practically risked my life pretending to be his ally. But in return, he let me see the extent of his deceitfulness.
Fetch.
Which is why I can tell everyone that Damon has Wolfgang's blackmail.
Holy crap.
Oh, gosh.
Ava, you... Bro, you should have seen this coming.
Any reason you didn't tell us this earlier?
Well, I didn't think it was incriminating at first.
Not even when he refused to come forward about it?
Right.
That was weird, but I didn't want to make accusations at the time because it could have just been his ego talking. Only after watching him reject the taser gun over this dumb mechanism he made up did I realize I had potential evidence on my hands.
I see. So so she's proposing that the taser gun is still the murder weapon?
Damon, do you have your blackmail on you? Don't worry about reading it out loud or anything. Just show the image. That's all you gotta do.
Did Ava really never trust me? Why then did she disclose so much to me? Why did she tell me? It's because I trust you. She could still be the ultimate liar, honestly. I'm just putting it out there. No, this can't be at the forefront of my mind right now. I'm on the cusp of bringing this case to a close. What Ava thinks about me shouldn't matter. What she thinks about me. You took my side way back at the beginning, remember? We were the only people who refused to listen to that lawyer, and you helped solve the mystery behind that whole case. No one thanked you, though. I'm really sorry about how things turned out. The other students wouldn't have treated you unfairly if it wasn't for me. Oh, is he going to suppose that she was trying to get him on her side so that he wouldn't suspect her? Ooh. This entire time I've been judging the others for how trusting they are, not even realizing I was blindly following the words of a stranger. And now everyone here, they're gonna hold this blackmail crap against me, even more than if I'd just come forward earlier. Even so, what choice do I have? No one will let the discussion continue unless I tell the truth.
Fine. I'll show it. But only the picture. As requested.
Within those words, I retrieved the envelope from my pocket and pulled out the photo.
He's married?
Ingrid, Wolfgang doesn't have blue eyes.
So, who is this then? His parents?
It would seem so.
I mean, why else would the guy look like him?
Given the year
We can only
this photo
presume,
was
right?
taken, these two people must be his parents. Look at what's printed at the bottom. April 17th, 2001.
My bad.
We know how old Wolfgang is because of the student reports. In 2001, he wasn't even born yet.
But why his parents? Are they being held against their will?
You can't leave us hanging, Damo! You gotta read out what it says!
That's not what was asked of me. And even if I had to, I don't think someone who can't explain himself should have his secrets revealed to everyone.
Yeah, but it could be helpful for the
Some
case.
things are better left unsaid.
For the record, I know what Wolfgang's blackmail says, but it didn't change my outlook on him. I don't think it's possible for anyone to hate someone like Wolfgang. He was always brave in the face of sheer adversity, and encouraged everyone else to act likewise.
I don't know.
Wolfgang challenged me to be a better person. Wolfgang challenged all of us to be better people.
Bro, his blackmail straight up says that okay, my conclusion is that it straight up says that he is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like, my dude.
And maybe Ava simply couldn't rise to his challenge.
Wow.
Don't listen to him. He's trying to divert everyone from the truth.
Even though Wolfgang and I didn't always see eye to eye, my respect for him and his talent never wavered. Why would someone like me harm him? Me, who's been leading this trial much the same way he led the one before. I may have questioned the idea no one here would kill, but that doesn't make me someone who wants to see bloodshed.
Interesting.
He does! He does want bloodshed!
Damn, Eva.
We have all the proof he's a cold-blooded killer. Wolfgang's blackmail, which he lied about having.
But wasn't Damon playing?
Nothing he says should be trusted. Nothing he says about me or anything else.
Wow.
It is.
She seems to be getting a little desperate.
Who does not have faith in us. So much so, these discussions are mostly led by his own conjecture.
It's
Damon
true.
Isn't the killer though? Why would he try to mislead anyone? Like, he and I were playing a game when the murder happened.
Yeah, he couldn't have done
and
it.
Multiple people can vouch for us.
Not to mention, the things he's been saying make a lot of sense.
There's no way it's Damon. They're not going to pull a V3.
Truth has no personal alliance. That's why.
Even if he wasn't here, we'd arrive at the same conclusion anyway.
Depends who you mean by we.
Right.
Then, you all still think I'm the killer?
This is crazy.
Someone needs to be voted by the end of this.
This is wild.
Don't just say it like that.
Oh gosh. Bro, she's starting to lose it.
My ears!
Girl, what's happening?
How would I know? How would I know when to drop it?
I don't know that that's relevant.
Drop what? The battery! Damon says the killer dropped the battery when Diana was already in the boiler room. But how would I know when Diana was in the boiler room?
Because you had to have locked her in?
It's not as if I could listen out for her. The music speakers are too loud.
Yeah, and wasn't she in the game room by then?
And the dining hall has no clocks, so it'd be impossible for me to know if it was 8:45 a.m.
That's not necessarily true. There was a clock.
Right. Only Mark's DJ pad had a clock.
Maybe Ava asked Mark for the time.
She never spoke to me.
We never spoke. I never even got up from my chair.
Bro, these sprites are cooking. Looks so good.
Besides, how could I be sure Diana arrived on time anyway?
Well, if you were the one who locked the door.
Can't explain how I knew when to drop the battery. Then shut up and stop accusing me.
Bro, voice this is crazy. Ava makes a decent point. How did she drop the battery in time? Did she just rely on chance? No, that doesn't seem likely. Her entire plan fails if the timing isn't right. Come on, think. If my years of debate have taught me anything, I need to look at this from another angle. If I just take it from the top while assuming Ava is the killer. How did Ava know to drop the battery? She checked the time. She guessed. She heard Diana enter. She saw Diana enter. She could have been looking through the vent?
I got it.
Ooh, but how did the door... Oh, because
the only way
that's...
the killer would have known when to spring their trap was by seeing Diana enter the room.
Which she could have done if the chair was reclined.
Any uncertainty would ruin the plan, and the dining hall was too loud to hear anything over.
That's right, she didn't close the door behind Diana. Diana closed the door herself. And the door was locked. But the only issue I'm having is... Well, no, that still works. Interesting. So where did she watch Diana from? There are only two possible places. The vent. Right?
Trying to look into the boiler room through the vent is impossible.
Then how? I should have known better than to suggest something like that. The camera?
This is it.
How would she have looked through that?
It's impossible to see anything from the vent, which means the only way anyone could see into the room
You're saying she had access to the cameras.
was by using the school cameras.
That's an insane idea. Are you proposing that because she knows math, she could hack the cameras?
What?
I don't understand how, but Ava must have used the camera.
That's a crazy idea.
Is she working with the kidnappers?
Are you kidding me? How the hell would I have access to the camera?
Yeah, that's a crazy idea, Damon. I'm not gonna lie. In order to actually see what was happening on the security cameras, what would Ava need access to? Naturally, it would have to be some sort of screen. I mean, she had her watch. Are we saying that her watch was connected to the camera system? A screen, huh? Thinking back on all the various clues we've discussed, I can't pinpoint anything which would provide an answer to that question. Feels like deja vu, doesn't it? When all other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards the one which still remains. The only thing we've yet to discuss. Ava, it's time I bring an end to what you started. For better or for worse, this one will be your final lie? What the frick? Hold on. I want everyone to know. I really thought it was going to be Ingrid. I'm not even joking. I really thought it was going to be her. For some reason, like, my gut was telling me that it was going to be her. Ava? What? This is ridiculous. This is insane. However, it won't be without a fight. Argument, altercation. In this game, you and your opponent battle each other in a bullet hell extravaganza. Dodge your opponent's attacks, shoot down their arguments, and solve the case. Oh gosh. Mega Bullet is F. Player movement. Focus. Noise bullet. Oh gosh. Okay. Use the WASD keys to move, and the spacebar to fire noise bullets. You can also focus by pressing the left shift key, which will slow the battle temporarily. Okay. Your opponent will fire their own bullets, so be sure to use your abilities strategically to avoid damage. Be sure to use your abilities strategically to avoid damage. They will also make statements of their own, which will appear as orange text. Oh, they also start the game with a shield, meaning they cannot be damaged by any means. But worry not, you can weaken their shield by breaking their statements with your bullets. Okay, breaking their statements also charges your Mega Bullet. You'll want to press the F key to fire that one. Why? Well, it's the only way to damage your opponent. If you miss, don't worry, just break more statements in order to recharge your Mega Bullet. After a certain amount of hits, you will progress to the next stage of the battle, and your opponent will become more frenzied and their attacks even wilder. Once they finally run out of HP, your opponent will then ask you their burning question. Press the WASD keys in the correct order to solve the case. Okay. If you fail, you will have to start over from the last stage of battle. However, losing all of your HP will force you to restart from the very beginning, so I'd suggest you don't do that. This is quite a lot of information, so feel free to press the F2 key in order to refresh yourself. I think I get it. I would say have fun, but your life actually depends on it, so get going. Oh gosh. Bro, this is wild. This is crazy.
I didn't see anything. I just wanted to help. Why would I kill anyone? I didn't see anything.
Oh.
There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
It's okay. We got it.
Fair.
This is so cool.
No proof I killed Wolfgang. I didn't see anything.
This is so crazy, bro.
This isn't fair. This isn't fair.
Okay. F.
This isn't fair.
Ooh, let's go.
No proof I didn't see anything. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
Here we go. Here we go. Can we do F again?
I just wanted to help. Who cares about the camera?
Let's go.
This isn't fair. I
Damon.
thought you trusted me.
This is crazy.
I just wanted to help. It's Damon who's suspicious.
Oh, fetch.
Why would I?
This is what?
I didn't see anything.
Here.
This isn't fair.
Wait until she moves again. Fire. Let's go.
There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
Oh.
I just wanted to help. Why won't you believe me?
This is crazy.
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. I just wanted to help. It's Damon who's suspicious.
This is so good.
There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. Why would I kill anyone? This isn't fair. Why would I kill anyone?
He's almost there. How would I use
Access the security camera?
Ava's personal? Oh, I was too slow. Are you kidding me?
This isn't fair.
Oh my gosh.
I just wanted to help.
The pros.
I kill anyone. It's Damon who's suspicious. It's Damon who's suspicious.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Who cares about the camera? Who cares?
Okay, okay.
How could I
Eva's
access the security
personal
camera?
game console.
Ava, we know the truth.
There's no way.
No! Don't kill me!
Oh, her personal game console. I didn't even realize she said she had
What you
one.
said was true, Ava. Whether or not the trap works depends on if the killer can see inside the boiler room.
That's insane.
Which begs the question, how does the killer see inside? They can't just get on their knees and peek through the vent. Everyone in the dining hall would notice. Besides, the vent probably offers very little in the way of an actual view of the room.
Exactly! It's impossible!
Right. It's impossible. From this particular angle, if I switch perspectives, their entire argument comes completely undone.
What do you mean?
Ava assumes I've
crazy.
taken only one factor into account. Her position at the time of Wolfgang's murder. Little does she know that in ruling out that factor, she's led me straight to another. A certain item which could have granted her the ability to see inside the boiler room.
Oh my gosh. If when she won that gaming console, imagine winning a gaming console that actually gave you access to the security cameras. That's insane.
An item that, like the chemical smell, only makes sense when all other options have been ruled out.
That wasn't even one of our truth
The game
bullets.
console she brought with her to the tournament.
Wow.
Ava had a game console?
She wanted to get in the spirit of the tournament without being directly involved. Or so she claimed. But when every other option has been ruled out, what else can we look to but the one that's yet to be addressed?
Are you saying she saw inside the boiler room using the console?
So he played live footage of the room?
That's insane.
Sounds like a stretch.
If I'm wrong,
It does sound like a stretch.
Ava should be able to prove her innocence.
Right, by pulling out the game console. And if she decides to break it, that incriminates her even
Ava.
further.
Show us the console.
Huh?
I don't think she has the console on her, dude.
She has to. She never had an opportunity to slink away and dispose of it.
Well, what about the blackout?
When the blackout first hit, people were disorientated for about a minute at most. Ava likely spent those 60 seconds undoing the cord and moving the chair.
Right.
Between then and now, she's never been alone. The only exception was when she and I split up to investigate the dining hall and the dorms respectively.
Okay, so she could have done it then.
However, the laundry room, dining hall, and courtyard all had people in them, so I doubt she hid the console in any of those rooms.
And the janitor closet? That room has been locked for days now. She obviously couldn't hide the console there.
Which means it must still be on her person.
That's insane.
Like I said earlier, if I'm wrong about the console, you can take it out right now and show everyone its contents.
What are you
Wow.
waiting for? Quit hiding the stupid thing and show it!
You're just trying to make me look bad. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just jealous of me.
Huh?
You're jealous of me and my talent. That's all you are. Jealous.
Holy crap.
Hey, calm down.
Why not just pull out the console?
Because it's incriminating evidence.
Yes! Show us the console and then you'll be done with this!
No! I don't have to show anyone anything.
That's the most suspicious thing you could say.
Right.
It's not suspicious. I'm telling the truth.
That's obviously a lie.
Why
What?
go to the effort of mentioning Wolfgang's blackmail if you won't reveal this?
Right.
Now that I think back on it, Ava had been staring at her console the entire tournament.
I'm flabbergasted.
I thought it was weird. Coming all the way over to the dining hall when she could have just stayed in her dorm.
Wow.
Well, where did she obtain this console?
From the pachinko machine.
We should discuss those details before
Well, not
continuing
the
any
pachinko,
more
the other thing.
She said she won it from Tozu's gotcha.
Gachapon, yeah.
Seems natural he would stock that machine with dangerous items. With this being a killing game, I don't...
One of them being access to the effing security cameras, that's wild.
Between 14 impossible culprits and one possible killer, there's no need to sort out the facts further. Ava, you're the only one we can vote for.
That's such twisted logic. You're going to vote for me without being completely sure I'm even guilty?
There's no need to be completely sure if no one else can be suspected.
How?
In case anyone still doubts Ava is the killer, I'll go through the case one last time. And once all the pieces are laid out for everyone to see, I'll prove she's the killer, once and for all.
Here it is. Wow. Okay, I don't remember the exact, okay. This is insane. What did Wolfgang and Diana receive? They received, okay, the blackout and closing the vent. So we need to come all the way. I don't remember how to, oh, here we go. Okay, the blackout. What did the killer leave on the boiler room floor? No. Who arrived in the boiler room last? How did the battery activated? Closing the vent, right? Okay, good. And then the blackout was the other thing. Wait, hold on. This. What occurred right after Wolfgang's death? The blackout. Okay, here we go. Nice. Okay, we've got the syringe and letters from the killer. I know letters from the killer was right at the beginning. Oh wait, hold on. There we go. This is crazy. Man, that's insane. The syringe. This one. There we go. They used the syringe to drug him. That's insane. Let's see. Car battery. That's what they stole from Jetstorm. And the internal plug. Which end? There you go. This is crazy. The taser, the killer, the taser. Who arrived in the boiler room after Wolfgang? The killer? I'm not really sure. Who took the knife from the kitchen? That had to have been Wolfgang. What did the killer leave in the boiler room for? The taser. Okay, and then let's do a different. Let's get another one if we can. Can't yet. The killer. What you mean? Who? I mean, the killer arrived? Oh, I guess so. Oh, they would have had to for the to hit them. Okay. Wolfgang. Who took the knife from the kitchen? Had to be Wolfgang. And the last clue is Diana. Who arrived in the boiler room last? Diana. This is it?
This is how it happened.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Here we go. Closing argument. This is insane. Not what I expected at all. I'm so shook.
This
Here we go.
case was directly incited by the motive Tozu introduced, in which everyone here received another person's blackmail.
We're gonna do auto for this.
The chaos that spawned. The killer saw an opportunity to commit a murder. They sent letters to two people, Wolfgang Akide, who they planned to kill, and Diana Venezia, who they planned to frame. Wolfgang and Diana were asked to meet in the boiler room in 2 days' time. Wolfgang's letter told him to arrive at 8:15 a.m., while Diana's told her to arrive at 8:45 a.m.
The messages threatened to expose our blackmail, so we had no choice but to follow their instructions.
Wow.
At this point, the killer probably knew the way they were going to kill Wolfgang.
What the hell?
Hence, how they reacted to this next piece of information.
Banger music!
The following morning, it was revealed that Cassidy and Jet were going to hold a game tournament.
The point was for people to spend time together and not think murdery thoughts. But little did we know, a would-be killer was lurking nearby. And how? The killer emboldened their own plans and made it so the tournament would happen at 9 a.m.
Crazy.
Did you just agree with yourself?
Bruh.
Both Wolfgang and Diana turned down the offer.
Wow, that's true.
Ears, since it confirmed their plan was working.
That's insane.
The killer took this as a sign to commence the next phase of their plan. Later that evening, they went downstairs to the boiler room and began preparing the murder weapon.
Though it might be more accurate to call it a murder mechanism.
That's crazy.
The killer wrapped an extension cord as tightly as they could around a car battery, which had been stolen from Jet's room. I imagine the battery must have been sitting on top of the generator. Wouldn't want to risk an explosion by bringing lithium too close to the water.
The killer avoided opening the boiler room vent for this segment, probably because they knew I'd remember it being closed originally.
A crucial part of the killer's plan would involve sliding the cord through the boiler room vent and out the other end into the dining hall. So they could then walk upstairs to the dining hall and tie the protruding part of the cord to the dining hall vent.
Funnily enough, the killer was going to be needed in the dining hall very shortly.
Yeah.
Wow.
To help Cass and me rearrange the dining hall's furniture. We were saving the whole thing for next morning, but they convinced us to do it that night instead.
Wow.
Their intentions were threefold. Create an alibi, hide the vent with a piece of furniture, and then open the vent in secret. After which, they'd return to the boiler room and suspend the battery over the generator.
Oh, I see, okay.
Which brings us to today. Knowing better than to head downstairs without protection, Wolfgang went to the kitchen and armed himself with a knife. Toshiko didn't notice a knife on him when the two met in the hallway, so he must have hidden it in his blazer.
Hi, buddy. My doggy's right here, next to me.
Wolfgang
He wants
arrived inside the
attention.
boiler room at 8:15 a.m. Exactly like his letter requested. As he was waiting, the killer snuck up
I
behind
love
him.
how they're all doing it together.
And he got smacked right in the head with that steel rolling pin and crumpled like paper.
A syringe
Hi,
was then
baby.
used to inject Wolfgang with a sleeping drug.
Wow.
Ensuring he would remain in the boiler room until Diana arrived.
That's so crazy.
The killer might have, left the taser on the floor around this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the taser they swiped from my dorm. They must have decided to raid the place after receiving my blackmail. If I'd heard about the taser
Crazy.
sooner, I could have gotten rid of it. as well as whatever else my blackmail supposedly mentions.
Save the angsting for later, will you?
Anyway, back on topic. Wolfgang was left to lie in the partially flooded area of the boiler room, while the killer ran upstairs to help set up Mark's music equipment.
They didn't care about the equipment. They just wanted to put a speaker next to the vent, because it would drown out the fight which was going to happen later.
Don't forget the digital clock! They wanted to get there before that became available. Don't need people knowing what time you actually arrived.
Wow. This is so in-depth, I love it.
My letter said to meet at 8:45 a.m. So that's when I got to the boiler room. I made sure to close the door behind me, just as the message told me to.
Bad idea. Killer flipped the doorknob so that the lock was on the outside instead of the inside. You locked yourself in.
Bye, buddy.
The room
Oh,
was
man.
really dark too. I didn't even see the suspended battery. Only the blinking security camera.
I just point out.
And then, Wolfgang.
So we're assuming that Wolfgang was only in the water because after he was drugged, he was put there and didn't come out of it, I guess?
He got up on his feet all of a sudden, and he started crying and saying these weird things. I tried to keep him calm and asked him to come over to me, which he actually did. But the very next second, he attacked me with his knife.
The drugs probably gave him a frightening hallucination, and he perceived you as a threat.
Wow.
He was screaming at me, and I was screaming back. No one from the tournament could hear us over the music.
That's
At
so
one point,
crazy.
I even picked up the taser, but then I threw it back down again.
And that's when the killer decided it was time. Having set their chair to recline, they were able to casually reach down and close the vent behind them.
This is crazy.
This lowered the extension cord, causing the car battery to enter the water and discharge a huge amount of electricity.
Wow. Rip.
Wolfgang,
Talk
who was
about
still
art.
standing in the water, was electrocuted instantly.
Wow. Toby, you need
The
to go out?
battery itself exploded upon reacting with the water, which the killer was likely banking on as a way to destroy evidence.
Sorry, y'all. One sec. I just had to let my dog out of my room.
All of this happened right under my nose. No one could have guessed that someone present at the tournament was committing
Bro,
murder.
the music coming back?
The explosion also damaged the generator and caused the blackout. Everyone ended up stumbling around in the dark.
Not for long, though. We quickly came back to our senses and agreed to look for a backup generator on the underground floor.
I used a hairpin to unlock the boiler room door and ran outside, but you guys had already made it downstairs.
That's when you say you ducked around a corner and out of sight. Only after everyone went inside the closets did you then dash upstairs.
That would explain how she knew when to run as well.
It's a good thing she did. Otherwise, we'd have found her alone in a room with Wolfgang's dead body. We would have wrongly assumed Diana was the killer, and died as a result.
This is insane.
This
Wow.
complicated scheme calls to mind only one person. One person who just so happened to be sitting in a certain sofa chair.
Amazing. Wow. There's no way.
That person is you, Ava Sunaka.
This is insane. I'm taking a picture of this. I'm not even kidding. For a fan game, this is immaculate. Just want to document. I know I can find this on the internet, but this is insane. I am so incredibly flabbergasted.
It's over. Ava, we know the truth.
Wow.
It's not fair. This isn't fair.
Voice actors are going crazy.
Isn't fair.
Oh, girl. That's it? That's actually the end? No way.
My blood is rushing.
Wonderful, brilliant, spectacular. You have seen beyond the foul lies of this scorned mathematician and delivered the honorable truth with wit and aplomb. I don't know if that's how you say that.
Well done.
This is worthy of praise. Allow me to reward your success with...
This isn't funny.
Can you shut up? Without Tozu's mad ramblings, the trial room had gone completely silent. Everyone was either standing at the floor or staring at the floor or sneaking nervous glances at each other. Oh, I understand the reason for this frosty atmosphere. You found out who done it, so now you wish to know why done it.
Such a spoilsport.
Very well. Every murder mystery needs a motive, and I would be loath to break tradition at this stage. Love that. Oh, girl.
There must be something.
Ava, why did you do this? Just why? These sprites are so well done. Like, look at that. The detail, everything.
Come on.
Come on, speak up. You have nothing to lose now. Wow. It was Tozu. Tozu made me do it.
This is...
What?
You...
You've been working with Tozu this entire time?
Such disrespect.
Me and her? Oh, please. If her plan was to secretly infiltrate the killing game, she wouldn't have gotten herself such an attention-grabbing ultimate title.
Rubbish.
I mean, seriously? Ultimate liar? Talk about on the nose. No, Ava is just as much of a kidnappee as the rest of you.
Son of a bitch!
Shut up! You let her get away with breaking the rules. That's proof enough you're in cahoots.
Holy...
Huh? Ava broke the rules? Yeah, when she blew up school effing property. Why the F was I punished for chucking a rock at a camera, but Ava wasn't punished for destroying a effing generator?
Shit.
Is Ava the exception that rule was talking about? What? Desmond tapped the screen of his trinket and conjured a familiar square-shaped hologram. With a few swipes of his finger, he located the killing game's rules. Okay, yeah. Everyone, take a look at the second rule. Students are not allowed to vandalize any official killing game property, such as cameras and the Tozu trinkets. Exceptions may apply. And this was an exception. Do you see how it says exceptions may apply at the end? Since Eva wasn't punished for breaking the generator, could that mean she counts as an exception? Clearly.
Stop lying.
Are you going to explain how, or are you just trying to be a thing contrarian?
This looks bad.
Well, if I had to make a guess, it's probably because Ava destroyed the generator while committing a murder. Eh?
What's all this about?
Are you saying Ava has special privileges? I think it's more like her method of murder was what destroyed the generator. Meaning, the generator is technically tied to Wolfgang's death. Yeah, which is why Ava was excused for breaking it.
Slow down.
Yo, that can't actually be the reason, can it?
I see.
And if it were... What? Yeah. Yep. I see. Ava believed she would count as an exception to the rule, which is why she didn't take any steps to avoid destroying the generator. What? She risked getting shot in the head over something she just assumed? No, I think it's... I mean, granted, they'll know it going forward, but it's and granted, I know it because of previous Danganronpa killing games, and they seem to be, you know, kind of basing this off of those. It absolutely makes sense. It's like, if you're going to destroy something in the wake of committing murder, why would Tozu punish that person? It makes absolutely no sense. Like, the whole point is for them to kill.
That ain't it.
Nah, with how confidently Ava executed the murder, she must have known for sure she wouldn't be penalized. She probably met with Tozu. How about it, Tozu? Did you ever share that information with her?
Me?
Desperate killer is much like a hungry seagull, ready to pounce upon the slightest crumb of substance. The mere implication of a loophole ignites their senses, and they, as desperate people always do, will shred their dignity in pursuit of confirmation. So, to answer your question, yes. Ava approached me with the same questions your friends are asking now. And yes, we haven't even voted yet, and he's basically confirming our... This is something that Monokuma would not have done. I just want to point out. Monokuma would not have confirmed any of this until after we had voted. And yes, I confirmed her suspicions were true.
Not okay!
Seriously? That's so unfair.
Pathetic.
Unfair. Answering a reasonable question is far from unfair. Have you never asked a professor for help on an assignment? Sure, your professor won't do the work for you. He'd be happy to clear up any confusion you might have. But then, why did Eva say you made her kill Wolfgang? Dang. I suppose you could say, even I made a deal. What? A deal? What kind of deal? Oh my gosh. A deal to begin the killing game. Impossible! Whoa. In exchange for agreeing to perform the first kill, she would receive a special perk. Oh, I see. The ability to look through the cameras? The traitor perk.
Holy!
What do you mean, traitor perk? Is it the tablet Eva has? I mean, she refused to show it to us when we asked. Mind you that the host cannot simply hand over a traitor perk to anyone who asks. For a student to be eligible for a perk, they must first earn it.
That was very...
What do you mean by earn it? The pachinko machine? Do you recall that little tidbit I shared with you about the pharmacy? Oh, the secret? You know, the one about a secret lurking inside. Oh, so she figured out the secret. You see, a very interesting secret is lurking beyond this door. So she figured out what it was. Oh, so she lied to Damon when he asked her about it. That secret, were you referring to the traitor perk? Indeed I was. When I said a very interesting secret was lurking inside, I meant that quite literally. The only thing separating you from the perk was a few inches of stainless steel and a pin pad. Oh, so she figured out the code from the secret thing hanging in the lab. Pin pad? Oh gosh, you're talking about the big door I found tucked behind a shelf. It was hiding the traitor perk all along. How did Eva figure out the password to the pin pad, though? Did she enter a bunch of random numbers until it, finally worked, and she was the one who pushed everyone away from it, bro? That's crazy.
Well,
A 4-digit code would have thousands of potential combinations. Unless Eva encountered unbelievable luck, the chances of her guessing that code in only a few days is extremely unlikely. Then how did she get access to the traitor perk? The 4 numbers will unlock the pin pad. How did Eva figure them out? There's only one way. Only one way I could see her obtaining the correct answer. It's to do with that poster, isn't it? That mysterious poster in the pharmacy. What poster are you? Ding, 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 correct. Yes, hidden inside one of the pharmacy rooms is a poster which reveals the code to the pin pad.
For real?
No way. For reals? No. How can that poster reveal the code, though? There was a 4-digit code in the bottom right, 1010, right? I knew it had to be important somehow. None of the visuals made sense, which is exactly why it caught my attention. But I didn't know what to do with that information, how to decipher what I was seeing.
Pathetic.
And that is where you fell short of your mathematically gifted peer, I see. With a keen eyesight and quick thinking, she saw the poster for what it really was. An equation! Oh, I see. What? That's crazy. Oh, every detail is deceitful. Those exclamations of grandeur may in fact be hints towards a certain something's nature. And that large star, in a stand-in for a coordinate plane. Interesting. Okay. Well, not that it matters anymore. The passcode to that precious pin pad is, after all, being changed as we speak. To quote the words of my parents' the road to freedom must always be paved with obstacles.
Heckin' twisted!
No way! A math equation is totally up Eva's alley. Eva, you told me you couldn't understand the poster. Of course you did. That equation is the key to the traitor perk. Handing it over would mean handing the perk over.
Shit.
So the traitor perk was Eva's reward for solving the puzzle?
Anybody?
That even is the perk. You still haven't explained that yet. It's obviously the console, right?
Me?
I assure you, it's a very handy thing to have. You see, this traitor perk allows the owner to access the school's security cameras using a tablet, just like we suspected. That tablet, of course, being on Ava's person right now. Wow.
Damn it.
So I was right. You accessed the camera in the boiler room, which was how you saw Diana enter.
Oh, crud.
I thought it was weird Ava didn't show us the tablet, but I didn't think it was actually wired into the school cameras.
But
Then, the reason I saw the security camera's light blinking... Oh, she noticed it blinking. Wow. I feel like that should have been what Damon remembered, was that Diana specifically mentioned that she remembered it blinking. Wow. It's because Eva was watching me? This is making too much sense. Ava, how could you negotiate with your kidnapper? Why would you have any reason to trust him? I had no choice. Eh? I either take his deal and give myself a chance to escape, or I would die here with the rest of you. Dang, I love this Desmond sprite. That selfish attitude is the reason why we've ended up in this mess. Didn't we promise to make it out of here together? If you hadn't murdered one of the only people who could have handled the situation, that's true, we might have made progress on escaping. Even if I didn't kill, someone else would have eventually. And if they were in my position right now, they wouldn't even admit to what they've done. Wow. They'd cry and snivel and try to guilt you. They wouldn't be honest like me.
Watch it.
Honest or not, playing Tozu's game was risky. You were trapped in a small space with witnesses everywhere. That's not a gamble you should have taken.
What a joke.
We had food, we had shelter. All we had to do was wait for our eventual rescue from this place. I fully agree. But I...
Stop it!
Oh, I see. I would have died first. I see what she's saying. It was obvious from what was happening with Wolfgang. His constant jeering at me over the few mistakes I'd make, while the rest of you followed his lead. If a class trial ever happened with him around, he would have accused me of being the killer without evidence. And you all would have believed him. That's not... Because of Wolfgang, I was isolated from everyone else. He turned me into an easy target for murder. And if I was murdered, would the rest of you even bother to find out who killed me? Wow. There's no way you would. There's no way anyone would. You're all the worst. I hope you all rot here. Wow. That's cold, man.
You really let me down.
Even if we had some rough spots, some of us still tried to get along with you. That's true, Cassidy did. During the gaming tournament, I was fine with you joining. You think a few games were enough to forgive everything you did to me? None of you actually care about me. None of you. I've never been anything to anyone. Huh? What do you mean? Dang. It really is the same in here as it is out there. Dang, so she's always been like bullied and stuff. I'm always the one that people hated. Oh, this score. Oh. I need to remember to get the soundtrack and download this. This is so beautiful to me. I didn't choose this talent. I was just doing what others wanted me to. I was the prodigy student the adults wanted me to be. I thought I did everything right, but I still kept being judged. Everyone else around me resented me, hated me, because they wanted the love I received, or what they thought was love. And despite all my hard work, the UTP turned me into something I never wanted to be. Even if I wanted to return to normality, it would be impossible. I'm stuck with this talent for life. And now, when I try to become something more than a sad joke, I get hit with the realization that all my efforts were for nothing. I never could be anyone else. I'll never get what I deserve. Wow. But I cared.
I don't understand. understand.
Eva, I cared about you. That's true. She did. She went out of her way to be her roommate. And not only did she do that, Eva chose to pin Diana as the number one suspect. I don't get it.
Why?
Eva, why did you frame me? I cared for you and stood up for you whenever I could.
Say that.
I wanted to be your roommate. I wanted to help you.
I don't want to.
It didn't mean anything. Why? You still agreed with everything Wolfgang said. No matter what he did to me, you kept on supporting him. Is that why you tried to frame me for his murder? Yeah. And you deserved it. Damn.
No.
That is absolutely wild. Diana let out a sob and nearly fell onto her podium. That is heartbreaking, actually. Diana! Eloise ran over to Diana and put an arm around her shoulder.
Can you believe that?
Why did you have to kill Wolfgang in front of her? That's so cruel. She obviously knew what she was doing. Both the cause and time of death were mentioned in the mock trial case, so it stands to reason they would be mentioned here too. Oh, I see. When Ava realized that, she tried to leverage it against us. I'm sure receiving that little camera perk made it all too easy to time the murder. Wow. Enough of this BS already. So Ava's a privileged little a-hole who thinks her life sucks. Who cares? You took Wolfgang's life. The only thing you deserve is some effing... I don't know how to say that word. I doubt she's actually telling the truth. Murdering someone because they lied about their inoffensive talent? Even she must know how ridiculous that sounds.
How can that be?
If Ava didn't kill Wolfgang because she was scared, then why did she kill him? Why else but to escape the killing game? I doubt any of us were ever a threat to her. In fact, it was probably the complete opposite. She thought she was smarter and better than all of us. That's why she thought she could win the class trial.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree with Winona. In that case, do you reckon Eva killed Wolfgang because of his abilities as a lawyer? It makes sense. She herself admitted he would have suspected her if he was here. Clearly, Wolfgang was the best person to kill if she wanted to escape. Dang.
Nope.
And anyway, Eva isn't the only one who's vulnerable. There are people here with even weaker bodies and weaker minds. Anyone who is looking for an easy kill would know to target them first. Oof. Damn. It doesn't matter. Even if no one targeted me, I still would have died first. How so? Because of the perk. Oh. So she had to kill someone? Tozu told me that if I didn't use the perk to murder someone as soon as possible, I was going to die.
What did you say?
Wow, that's crazy. Is this true, Tozu?
Me?
Guilty as charged. That's crazy. But that is very Monokuma to do. No way! Tozu never told me the number of days I had left, just that I needed to kill soon. I see. So probably he just needed to know that she had a plan in place. If I didn't kill soon, I'd die.
This isn't fair!
I had to do something. You can't blame me for that. If you were in my shoes, you would have all done the same. Dang, this is just like Leon. Him saying that, oh, we would have all done the same. But let me guess. You know, in the Leon case, Celeste made a really good argument against him, which was, well, you still went out of your way to go over to Sayaka's room and kill her. Like, you still went out of your way to do it. And I think in this case, one could say, well, you still went out of your way to get the secret, didn't you? And as far as we were concerned, we knew that secret was going to probably be means to commit a murder. So,
Worthless.
It's your own fault. You were only in the situation because you took the perk. Exactly. No. Tozu targeted me with the math puzzle. He offered me the perk when I was at my lowest point. If you guys were approached the way I was and offered a chance to go home, you would have taken the perk too. You're just a bunch of hypocrites. You just want to make me look like the villain so you feel less bad about killing me. Killing her? Because she was found guilty? That's right, how could I forget? If the blackened is uncovered. Enough already. I'm sick of talking to this scumbag. Get on with the effing execution, will you? Alright. The soap opera is entertaining, but I realize it's time to change the channel. The channel? There's an audience. Oh, wait. Don't tell me you're actually... We didn't vote, though, did we?
Holy...
All of a sudden, the elevator behind us began to churn alive. The whir of... We didn't vote, though. Am I stupid, or did we not vote? The whir of machinery could be heard from the other side of the doors, raw and loud and rhythmic, like a mechanical symphony.
The show must go on.
Ahem. Do not avert your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. I hear a lot of budget went into this. No, I don't... What's going on?
I won't believe.
This isn't happening. This isn't happening.
Blood is rushing.
To the victor go the spoils. Hail the honorable dead, avenged at last. I don't deserve this. Even if you hate me, I don't deserve this. May our charitable justice inspire fear and humility within these wretched souls. I'm being a little hesitant because I kind of feel like something's off. First of all, we didn't vote, and that is one of the biggest things in a Danganronpa game. I know that this is a fan game, but the fact that we didn't actually vote for Eva is a little sus, in my opinion. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's specifically stated in the rules that we have to vote, and we didn't.
Don't kill me!
This isn't fair! I don't deserve to die! I deserve to live! I deserve to live! And stir the hearts and minds of all those bearing witness. Ready, everyone? Let the show begin. I'm excited to see this. I'm just making it so abundantly clear that we didn't vote. And I find that to be very strange. Like, yeah, everyone seemed to be in agreement that it was Eva, but we didn't physically vote, and I think that's weird.
I want to live. I deserve to live. I'm going to live. I'm going to live!
Oh, fetch! Oh no, here we go. And now we present the execution of Eva Suna... Huh? What? Enjoy the show. No way. Fall back. Bro, this is so good. This is so well done. This is insane. Fiery furnace of affliction. What? But isn't she a mathlete? How does that... Oh! How does this have anything to do with her talent, though? I'm confused. Holy balls. Go, girl, go! Oh, man. Stairs! This is insane! Not the geometry tools! This is insane! This looks amazing! I just got chills. Oh! Oh my gosh! Not all the pencils and rulers. Ow! Oh my... Oh! This is brutal! Oh my gosh! Sweet Lord above. Oh, did that hit her eye? It's her? Why is she here? Hot damn. And yes, I meant that. I have two things I want to say right off the gate. First of all, that execution was insane. And that is the biggest compliment I can give. Executions are one of the most important aspects to a Danganronpa game, and that was even better than I could have expected. That was insane. It was so good. The creators of Project Eden's Garden should be so incredibly proud of themselves. That was amazing. Visually, the theming of it, it was amazing. Like, it was so good. Second, I still want to point out, I think it's strange that we didn't literally vote. I think that's weird, and I think I'm wondering if that'll come into play later, or if it was intentional, or what. Because physically taking a vote, not only is it part of the rules, if I'm not mistaken, but that's a big part of other Danganronpa games. So I find that to be strange. That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. I did not expect it to be Ava at all. Something else I also want to say. So I was worried that I had been spoiled because I follow Project Eden's Garden on YouTube, and they posted the execution a good few days ago, and the thumbnail doesn't show who it is, but it does say the title of it, and it said like Fiery Furnace or whatever. So I already knew that was going to be the title of the execution, and I genuinely thought it was going to be Ingrid, because I was like, Fiery Furnace, the only talent that in my mind connects to is Ingrid being the ultimate blacksmith. So that, I will admit, is one of the reasons why I made conclusions and assumptions about how it could have been Ingrid, kind of from the start. But I'm so grateful that I was wrong. And I still think the theming of the execution was brilliant, and it worked. Wow. Like, round of applause for the creators of this game. That was amazing.
I can't handle it!
Wow. Like, this is shaping up to be as good as the mainline games. My entire body had seized up. I couldn't move a single limb, couldn't say a single word. All I could do was stand and stare, my mind at a complete and total loss.
There's no way.
So that's what punishment entails. That's horrible. Let me go home. Please let me go home. Oh, Ingrid. Now I feel bad for suspecting her, girl. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm so sorry. And she's such a motherly figure, too.
Isn't this lovely?
Goodness, talk about a heated moment. Screw you, Tozu. That was very Monokuma of you to say. Eva put up quite a fight. For a second there, she almost had me believing we'd underestimated her.
Moving on.
Just kidding.
I'll be damned.
How can you do this? Forcing these innocent people to kill each other.
Terrible. Just terrible.
So judgmental. Need I remind you that this is student-on-student warfare? Oh, just shut up already. Wow. Wow. Ava, why? You just needed a friend. I could have been the friend you needed. Why did you do this? Damn.
I can't believe it.
I think I'm gonna be sick. Wow. I don't even know what I'm feeling anymore. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Oh, shit!
I'm totally gonna die here, aren't I?
Can't be like this.
No one else is gonna die, you hear? We're all gonna be okay. Come on, repeat it after me. I'm here and I'm okay. I'm here and I'm okay. I'm here and I'm okay. Oh, this is so heartbreaking. The writing is mwah, so good. This was my reality. The fear of death had already been heavy on my shoulders ever since the Killing Game was announced, but now it had completely enveloped me. Wow. I'm just so impressed. I can't do it. I can't lie to myself again. Again?
It's all my fault.
I'm not okay. I'm never gonna be okay. I could have changed things. I could have saved her. And him, Wolfgang. If I'd just dragged him out of the water, I could have saved him. Yeah, I see what she's saying, but you probably would have died, is the problem. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that if that happened, he most likely would have stabbed her, killing her, right? Or she would have retaliated and stabbed and killed him, something along those lines. And Ava wouldn't have been killed, even with the threat, because someone would have died, right? Why didn't I save him? Diana, you had no way of knowing what was going to come next. He was wielding a knife, too. Anyone would have done what you did. Did he really bring a knife for self-defense? Oh. Oh, yeah. So are we presuming... Yeah, that's right. Grace still... We still never really got an answer out of her why she blocked the dorm room. I can't let it end. Wolfgang's kindness. I can't let anyone forget it.
How it is.
That goes without saying. Ah, the soundtrack, man. I'm sure everyone will remember what Wolfgang did for us. I've never thought of the lengths my talent can go. The ability to change others' appearances, to be the best version of themselves. It's always been someone else who sits in front of the mirror. I've never put myself in that place. Diana, you okay? If I can't save Wolfgang, then at the very least, maybe I can live. Maybe I can live for him. You didn't do anything wrong, Diana.
Pardon me.
Yeah. I can do this. I can fulfill the life he wasn't able to live. The hell does that even mean? Huh? Come in.
Like
I can't right now, Josh.
I will adapt.
Wow. Okay, moment of, I guess, valor, if you will. Good for you.
I'll follow in Wolfgang's footsteps and continue what he wasn't able to accomplish.
Nice, good for her.
I'll become something new.
Though this makes me nervous she's gonna die next. Tears were running down Diana's face, but her expression, somehow she looked determined. I couldn't understand it. Despite everything she's been through, here she was making some silly vow about continuing Wolfgang's legacy, acting like she's a hero from a storybook. Has this girl lost her mind? No, good for her.
Hold on.
Wolfgang and Eva, neither of them deserved this. I won't let what happened to them happen to anyone else here. For both their sakes, I'll save everyone from the killing game. Take this seriously, will you? Ah?
Can this get any worse?
It seems your peers aren't much in the mood for heroic monologues.
Moving on.
Anyhow, it's been a long day. The crime scene has already been cleaned up. Unless you have any further questions for me, you are all free to return to your dorms. So, any further questions? Why didn't we vote?
Ingrates.
Huh. Now where have I heard that one before? In all seriousness, I'll take that as a no.
Good evening.
Ahem. Until next time, everyone. Just like last time, Tozu walked over to the throne.
Isn't this lovely?
By the way, you're safe to ride the elevator back up. We've set it back to its default mode. What you glimpsed before was simply its punishment mode. On that ominous note, he was lowered underground. Hey guys, should we just go back to our rooms? Aye, it's about time we draw this day to a close. Good idea. Grace still knows something. People silently made their way to the elevator, horror and despair etched on their faces. It was clear, today's events would not be easily forgotten. And then there was me. Everything I'd been ruminating over, the devastating images which had been plaguing my mind. Wolfgang's murder. The trial. Man. Ava dying right in front of me, swallowed by a pit of fire. Yeah, it's pretty effing brutal. I had all retreated to the corners of my mind. The only thing I could focus on now were those 5 words. I'll follow in Wolfgang's footsteps. That seems a little ominous to me in a way, actually, doesn't it? Hearing those words come from Diana after everything that's happened, seeing her raise her chin and act so tall and proud, just like Wolfgang once did. So Damon is concluding that by nature of her following in his footsteps, it could inspire another murder. It pissed me off. Okay, Damon, good for you. Wow. Beneath the veil of hypocrisy. Wait. One? One? What? I thought 2 people had died. Come again? Wait, I'm a little confused. It said 1, not 2. Am I stupid? Or is it to say that that was chapter 1 with 14 surviving because 16 was the total? Yes, I would like to save my game. Wow. That's the end, yeah? Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, I'm shook for a lot of reasons. I think, hold on, let me turn this down a little bit. I kind of feel like, first of all, I want to echo everything else I said before about the idea that this was so beautifully well done. The execution was amazing. I did not expect Ava at all. She genuinely was not on the cards for me. And I'm really glad I was fooled by what I had read about the title of the execution. I'm really glad that I didn't get it right, because getting it right would have just really diluted, the end of this. So, it's so interesting. I remember when this was announced. Okay, soundtrack. Anyway, I remember when this game was announced. And I remember there was some immediate emphasis on both Eva and Wolfgang. And I thought that maybe one of them would die. I didn't think both of them would die. That's for damn sure. And I was like, they have to do something different than what the other games have done. And in a way, this is different than what the other games have done. Because, in the first game, a rando in the group was the culprit, and the main side support was the victim. And they were planning on the murder as well. In the second game, in the first case, once again, it was kind of just a random person in the cast who ended up being the culprit, and the potential leader of the group was the victim, but they weren't part of the trio. Like, it was pretty clear that the trio was going to be Hajime, Chiaki, and Nagato, you know what I mean? But none of them died, unlike in the first game. And then in the third game, someone of relevance, but who we didn't really know whether or not they were going to be part of, the main trio, was the victim, and the protagonist was the culprit. So in this one, the primary antagonistic figure for the protagonist was the victim, and the main side support was the culprit. So they did something different that I didn't expect, and I love that. Pretty amazing. And it looks like we're right here at the end of the credits. I wonder if they're going to have a last scene for us, maybe? It would seem not. Let me just go to the chapter select just to make sure. Nope, that's it. I don't know where they're at in terms of chapter 2. I know that it took them a while to get chapter 1 done, and I want to make something super clear. That is not a complaint. I'm glad that they took all the time that they needed, because this was immaculate. It was absolutely amazing. I could not be more happy with this entire experience. It was so good. Yeah, it was incredible. Genuinely, Project Eden's Garden team, you should be so proud of yourselves. Please give yourselves a pat on the back. I imagine years now, right? Since you started production, it would have been definitely more than a year. I can't remember exactly when this was announced, but I also know that y'all had started working on it before then. If I'm not mistaken, I had watched some of y'all's vlogs and a few other things, and the community posts and everything, so... immaculate. Truly immaculate is what this was. And I think, any Danganronpa fan who has been looking into all of the different fan games, I can say with confidence, having either played or seen gameplay of the majority of the other fan games that have been made, because there's so many of them. I don't know that I've experienced all of them, but most of them. And this one, even with only the prologue and chapter 1 out, this is at the top. Like, without question. This is the pinnacle of fan-made Danganronpa experiences. It really is. I mean that. And I cannot wait for chapter 2. There's so many good things to say about this. The voice acting is amazing. The character designs are fantastic. The lore has been wonderful. The theming is incredible. It feels similar enough to the original game, but also different. Like, the closing, not the closing argument, but like the closing face-off between the protagonist and the culprit. This was different, right, than any of the main games. It stood on its own. It was a new experience, but it also felt like something done on, like something that Chunsoft would do. You know what I mean? And I love that. So it felt true to a Danganronpa game, but still fresh at the same time. The execution was absolutely in line with a mainline Danganronpa execution. In fact, I would go so far as to say that Iva Tsunaka's execution was genuinely better than a lot of the mainline executions. I would say it was better than Mikan's. I would say it was better than Gundam's even. I thought Gundam's execution was fine because I love him as a character, but I always thought his execution could have been so much better. Like, just a stampede, really. Like, they could have gotten a little more creative with it. I would say that this execution felt very in line with the majority of the V3 executions, because I think almost all of those were excellent. I thought they were very good, and I think this was in line with those. It was amazing. So bravo, Team Project Eden's Garden. You deserve all of the credit you can get for this, and I don't care how long I have to wait. It could be 2 years. It doesn't matter when Chapter 2 comes out, but when it does, I'm here to say with confidence that I will be playing it, and it will be worth the wait, because wow, that was incredible. I don't think I have any other notes. Obviously, there's not going to be, I don't anticipate, unless y'all surprise us and release Chapter 2 like within the year, which would be amazing. I anticipate that I won't be diving back into this game for a while, which is perfectly acceptable. I don't know if there's a way to donate to Project Eden's Garden, because I know that, it's a bunch of fans. Like, these aren't, as far as I'm concerned, they're not being paid. I could be wrong, but anyone watching this, if there's a way to donate to Project Eden's Garden, please do, because I think they deserve all the love that they can get. And guess what? A donation can even just be a subscribe. You know what I mean? To their channel. Go check out Project Eden's Garden's channel. I will link it below. In fact, I should have been doing that in all of the previous episodes. I will do that as well. They will be up in the previous episodes as they're posted. As of recording this, only the prologue has been posted on my YouTube. I didn't post any of the previous parts of Chapter 1 because I didn't want to make thumbnails under the chance I would be spoiled by looking up different sprites and things. And so when those come out, I will make sure that Project Eden's Garden is linked in the description, and I will be absolutely certain to do that here. Please go check them out, subscribe, give them some love. This was immaculate. It really was. So thank y'all for giving so many people the opportunity to dive into this. I am in awe. I really am. So thank y'all so much for watching. I'm excited to get into Chapter 2, whenever that may be, whether it be 6 months, a year, 2 years. I will wait for as long as is necessary. But to all of you watching, thank you so much. Have courage and be kind, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.